Welcome to the lab, everybody. I'm your host, Joshua Diaz. It's great to be here. It's great to see all of you. We have a fantastic show for you tonight. Give me 1 second here and I will, hold on. Sorry about that. Let me take these fellas down. I was just going to, we got talk about a couple things tonight, but first of all, I just want to say, hold on. I want to say thank you to everybody who reached out to me during a very difficult day. It's been a difficult week, and I feel the overwhelming love and support of each and every one of you. As a lot of you know, I made a post yesterday that my father was up for parole after 37 years, and he was initiated the first step in being granted parole. It's not exactly final. However, it starts the process. And it was a very difficult thing to have to listen to. And it wasn't the outcome that I wanted. But it was the outcome, unfortunately, I expected. Because of the just the laws that are in place. Unfortunately, there's nothing that I can do about it. I wish there was. And I did everything that I can, and I will do everything everything that's still available to me until the end. But however, it does look like he will be paroled at some point in the next year. It's not the news that I wanted to share with you. However, I want to say that, and I will talk about this more in depth later on. I will like to say that there is a part of me that feels some relief because I don't have to do it anymore. It's always felt like this piano that has hung over my head every 3 years. And I'm tired. It has taken a toll on me and my family. Yesterday was no different. It was a very difficult day. I got to tell you that I woke up this morning and I felt good. I felt okay. I felt sort of a freedom. I'm gonna lay it down. When it's all done, I will be done with it, and there's nothing more that I can do. So I just wanted to tell you guys, thank you so much for everything. My family's doing okay. We are doing okay. I told you either way that we would be okay, and that's the case. You know, it's not a fun thing, it's an easy thing. But I got to tell you that reliving this every few years has been draining. The anticipation, the anxiety, the heartbreak, the reliving, it's enough. If somehow he was to be left in prison and I had to do it again in 3 years, I would do it. I would do it the rest of my life. But the fact of the matter is, I don't have to now. The decision was made for me, and I'm at peace. I'm at peace with it. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know the conditions of his release. I don't know any of that stuff yet. I just don't. But I will keep you guys updated. So with that being said, I don't want to dwell on it too much, because we have a great show for you, and that's what we do. We have shows, and tonight's a very special show, very interesting show, and so let's introduce our guest. You know, you might know him from the chat, and he's also called in the show a bunch. He's a very, very smart fellow. We're very happy to have him here with us today. Jason, the IT. Jason, you're the IT guy.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for being here. Also, I don't know where Dr. Gary is. He's somewhere there.
You guys don't hear me?
There you go.
We can hear you. We don't see you, but
Why?
I don't know. Maybe you have a piece of tape over your camera.
No, I don't. Very strange. We have an IT guy here. Maybe he can troubleshoot. Hold on a minute. Let me
maybe I'm causing problems in the back end there.
Yeah. Hold on a minute. Let me just come back in. Hold on. I'm going to exit and come back. I'll be right here. They say they see me.
Oh, really?
That's really weird.
Huh.
Hold on.
I can come back in.
Really? They can see you, but we can't.
This is totally bizarre. I'll be right back.
It must be something on the StreamYard side.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody said no. They don't. We can. They couldn't see you. They could hear them, but they couldn't see you. But anyway, let's see. Well,
I just want to take the opportunity to thank you very much for inviting me on your show. It's an honor. I love participating in the chat. You have a great audience, and you can tell how not only they're there to discuss everything, but they're also there at a personal level. It's like a family, and I really respect that out of you. I look up to you as a host, because it's rare that you're going into, a channel and there's a real connection between you and your viewers. And
I appreciate you saying that. I think. And Dr. Gary's a big part of this too. But even when I originally started this channel, one of my goals was to try to be interactive with the chat, with people, and that's why we do a lot of call-in shows as well. So I appreciate that. Yeah, I try very hard to incorporate it as much as I can, and like I said, Dr. Gary is a big part of that. Let me see here. Thank you for becoming a member. Let's see, Tanya Reynolds, appreciate that, and Adacore has been around for a while. Prayers and pills, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's very, very kind of you. And Joshua, loved, respected here with your second family. Always remember, you are your mother's son. That's right, I am. And like I said, I will never not honor her memory and cherish it as long as I can, as long as I'm able to. So, and also, Dr. Gary, I want to thank you. I know that you had a long day yesterday, and I don't want to pull the curtain back too much, but Dr. Gary called me on the phone last night and talked to me for a while, and it was comforting, to be honest with you. It helped a lot. I didn't know that I needed it, but I did, and so I appreciate that a lot, Dr. Gary. Thank you.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. So anyway, Dr. Gary, start us out really fast, because you were just telling me before the show started something very interesting that
yeah, it's trickling into the news. I actually I was really floored by it. So apparently it is being said in increasingly larger newspapers that on April 8th, Rex Heuermann is now expected to change his plea to guilty.
Wow.
The Long Island serial killings. Now I'm waiting for confirmation. I mean, but this is what's being telegraphed, is that we're going to get a total reversal. You remember they were shooting for like September.
Yeah.
For a trial and everything. Now it's like, you got a guy accused of 7 murders, may have committed more, who knows, if he's guilty. But now it looks like they think he's going to plead guilty. And if he pleads guilty, you could just picture this, BTK style, telling it all, in all the detail,
Which is so crazy too. And, for the people, I don't think there's too many people that I'm telling anything to. This is your thing. This is your niche, right? This is.
Oh yeah.
This guy.
Part of the people. I've been talking about this case for a long time. Yes.
Yeah, but serial killers. I mean, this is so. I mean, first of all, it's a big deal. But I mean, this case, especially while bodies were being discovered. This can't be the end of it. I mean, I don't see how it could be. I mean,
decades.
He's been doing this for such a long time.
Listen, in my own work, I've been able to show that the average number of victims of a sexually sadistic serial killer is 12. Accused of 7, okay? And you're talking about a person who, if he is the person who did this, has been doing this a long time. We may be dealing with a very prolific situation. Now, if he is guilty, there's some interesting stuff that makes me wonder about the why now, in terms of the psychology of it. But I think that's a conversation to have later. But, listen, it's not like it's going to have anything to do with his sentencing or anything. I mean, if he was guilty, he was getting life, right? I mean, multiple life sentences probably. Yeah, I mean, what does he think he's going to get out of pleading? I mean, it has to be some other reason for it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to wrap my head around. What though? Like what is it that they could off? Because as far as I know, New York doesn't have the death penalty, and
maybe he just wants to tell the story already.
Could it be a change of heart sometimes, Doctor?
What heart? I think that it's more like it's more that I think he might want to just talk. Listen, at some point, these people want to tell their story. Same thing's going to happen with Koberger.
Well, and also maybe with him, the evidence that sort of has been already presented seems pretty damning in and of itself, obviously. I remember we covered the list that he had and all that kind of stuff. Maybe they have uncovered something else that we don't know about yet that just has him dead to rights.
I mean, who knows? I only know that, look, as I've said several times about this case, and I haven't talked about it in a while. It's been a long time since I have, but it just hasn't. We haven't had an opportunity to talk about it. But you have to understand that men who repetitively commit sexual assault are like a circle, right? And they're rare enough, right?
Look at that comment. That could be it right there.
Who knows? You think? All right, maybe.
I think so.
Who knows? I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know the dynamics to say that. But okay, so there's this circle of like men who commit repeat sexual assault, right? It's already small. Now, in that circle, you have a smaller circle of men who repeatedly commit sexual assault who kill, right? Now you're getting really tiny probability. Now, in that circle, you have the tiniest circle of all, which is men, well, a tinier circle, which is men who repeatedly commit sexual assault, kill, and torture. Okay? And then you take your torturers, and there's an itsy bitsy tiny little category of ones who are so committed to it that they actually have to have like a torture chamber or a place where they have all their objects out to do whatever they're going to do. And that's what you're dealing with here. If this guy's guilty, this guy is like in that category, right? The category where you put people like, not quite David Parker Ray, who was an extensive torturer, but the type that had like an isolated place.
It's kind of like making a ritual out of it.
Making an obsessional ritual out of doing. And that implies being extremely committed to it, right? And there's that whole thing that he had that area, maybe in the vault, where somebody might wake up after, possibly being blitzed or something and do whatever. So that if he's guilty, he's like this tiny, tiny little subtype of serial killer. And he also, so extensively studied the work of experts like Douglas, and people like that, that it just makes his case one that, is intriguing to talk about from a criminological perspective, because he went on for so many decades, right under everybody's nose. And don't forget, they arrested him across the street from where I work, basically.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. With that pizza box in the trash. I took a picture in front of it because it's the trash can outside the pizzeria near my job. And it's just so funny. It's like there he was. Like I'm like part of conversations about looking for this guy for years, and they arrest him across the street.
My God, wow.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So it's just there's something about that is just really strange. But all of that being put over here, I think we definitely are going to be talking about it. I think right now the Guthrie case is sort of center stage and all that. But I think that, and I wish we could talk about it forever because I really want resolution on it. Yeah. What I predict is going to happen is that if this guy pleads guilty, and it almost seems by design, he's going to snatch the spotlight and become the front page news as each story unravels and we get details and we're all horrified and everything else. I think we'll all be talking about it.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Is that
it? Right? Yeah.
Could it potentially take over, Doctor? Could that be a reason why he did? He wants to be in the spotlight.
That's what I'm wondering about. It's one of the things I meant when I said that this type, you always have to think about the timing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, is there something going on in the news that's taking attention away? Is it, there's something to the story. I don't know what it is. I don't want to speculate about it until I get more info. But I think it's going to steal the spotlight for a while. I think
that, and Jason, I think probably to your point, that could be part of it. You never know. Yeah.
Right. Who knows in these minds of these people, right?
Well, listen, we can talk about that. And Josh, I before we launch into this, I just want to say that, I just remember everybody's here for you, intellectually. Yeah, of course you get it,
Sure.
But with time, when the heart starts to feel it, you'll remember everybody's here, and if you want to do loads of these shows, and we could therapeutically chat into the wind, for hours.
You can play the map game again.
Yeah. By the way, Jason, where are you? You look like you're in like almost like a Smurf movie or something.
I took advantage of the situation and I bought some new toys.
Nice.
It's like a what's that color called? Like cyan. It's like you're in like a blue tint, like a DW Griffith.
Yeah, it's like an aqua. It's a light that's putting it on.
I like it.
Azzurro.
I wanted to give it a little crime look, a little glitch.
Is that the idea? You're going for like a little
It's like a crime lab sort of.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Blue. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about. I'm going to let Josh lead this, obviously, but the idea is we're going to talk about in more depth about IT aspects of this Guthrie case, which is just perplexing and going on and driving everybody up a wall because it's just not adhering to any of the traditional parameters when we think about crimes. And Josh, my question is, before I sort of step back, is are we taking calls for Jason?
We can. I mean, is that just
Whatever. You're the host, Josh.
Sure. Yeah. Well, we can take a few and we kind of have a sort of a little bit of an outline, I guess, that we had talked about before, and we will cover as much as we can, and then we can definitely take some calls.
Like I'm always so amazed how during the show is one thing, during the chat, but then afterwards, people are finding me, reaching out to me, asking things I never thought of. It's just amazing that and that this is one thing I don't appreciate in terms of when the YouTubers and the people that are out there who are following this case, whether it be like you are or the guys on the ground, I don't appreciate when they're not appreciated, because they play a role, and everyone has the right to their opinion and to investigate an issue, just as long as they're not in the way of the investigation. I just, I'm a big believer in your First Amendment right, that you have the freedom.
I'll tell you, Jason, I could tell from what you're saying where you are on the spectrum of exposure to YouTube. That is how I sounded, and I'm sure Josh sounded the first few months. And then what is going to happen is that in about 6 months, you'll start arguing back, you get looser, and then you start saying to people, "How dare you say that to me? What do you do for a living?"
Look, I've seen Jason get snippy with some people, a couple people.
Yeah, you'll see. And then in about a year, nothing will faze you. Like they'll spit on you, and you'll be like, "Anyway, so what?" So and you'll flick it off, and you just go. Because you get immune. It's like when you're a school teacher. Like they can throw the desk at you, and you're like, anyway, 48 plus 75 is, and they're like throwing the boot across the room, killing each other. It doesn't bother you anymore.
You're treated like the substitute teacher,
Yeah, you're gonna get a skin for it. Right now, you got that sensitivity. You're new to it. You're new kid on the block. Give it a couple of months. They're gonna be, first of all, I would say, if we had to make a pie chart, about how many people would you say, Josh? You wonder if they escaped from a prison or something, or some kind of asylum, before they sat down and watched you. Maybe like two out of 100.
Man, I'd say a little north of that.
Okay, yeah, like 2 to 4. Okay.
Yeah.
And
I thought you were going to say how many YouTubers have escaped from an insane asylum, and I was going to say somewhere in the 87 to 88% range.
Like that. Yeah, right. And then you got like 85% are amazing people that have great questions. Then you're going to get like, what would you say, Josh, in terms of people who like you almost too much? Like the overly talking to you, infatuated, think you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, was like 2%.
I don't know. I don't get that much.
Yeah, right. Are you kidding? Did you ever read the chat? It's like a club.
Not really. I mean, I do read the chat, but I love the love.
And then you get the people that come in for 60 minutes or 49 minutes and then complain about it after.
Yeah.
And then you've got this very special, this little subgroup that I don't know how to describe that just want to complain. Professional malcontents. Like the person who has to make a suggestion for no reason. Like, hello, I hate to bother you. I found your email on the internet, and I decided that I need to share with you that when you are sitting on the screen, you should lean more left, because when you do, the lighting hits your brow differently than when you turn right. It would make the show better. I also recommend the following microphone. And you're like, delete, bye-bye, thank you. So you get that little club. You know what I'm saying, Josh, right?
I just tell people they can leave.
Yeah, well, there is that.
The other night, there was a side chat about whether or not you wanted people to know that you play piano or not. Like it was in the interview chat. Like,
I do. I play the piano since I was.
you know, like it was funny. Like it was like a few people debating. Oh, if he wanted us to know, he would have said it. You know, like. So
Listen,
it's funny how people react.
I definitely play the piano. I once got thrown out.
No, I've seen you. I've seen you play the piano. It's beautiful.
I once got thrown out of a Disney hotel lobby as a kid because I wouldn't stop playing the piano, and it was Disney music.
Oh wow!
And they were very kind at first. They said, "Excuse me, would you mind stopping the play?" I said, "Yeah, I'll stop in just a minute." I went through. I can't tell you how many Disney movies I went through. I was blasting through them. I think they finally lost it when I hit Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
I think when the guy came over to ask me to leave, I was playing "It's a Jolly Holiday" over and over again.
I would have been pissed at
like, excuse me, young man, you play wonderfully, but I think you need to go. And I was like, ba-bum, 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 ba. And they were like, I swear, if they could have, they would have picked the whole bench up and just walked me right out and tossed me like
they kicked you out.
But Disney is supposed to be musical and everything. I mean,
they asked me politely to stop playing, and I didn't.
I have some relatives that are piano teachers.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I tried, and I just didn't.
You look like you play an instrument, though. You could play something.
I talk a lot. I think it's the.
You look like you should be able to play an instrument. Come on.
Well, maybe I should try something else then.
Josh, what do you play?
I play the drums.
Okay.
And I play the trumpet.
Oh.
And I used to play the violin a little bit, but I'm not that good at it.
The cello is my favorite instrument.
I know we've talked about that before. It creeps
I'm
me out.
crazy about it. Yeah, absolutely crazy about people who play the cello. Yeah, I'm a sucker.
It's so relaxing. It has such a soothing tone.
The most beautiful thing in the world.
Yeah.
It cries. It calls to you. You know. What's your favorite instrument, Josh?
Probably the saxophone.
I wanted you to say something crazy like the Calliope.
Well, I mean, I love the kazoo, but you'd laugh at me.
That song from Zelda. No,
Yeah,
but what is it? Which is your favorite?
The saxophone.
That's beautiful. With the tenor saxophone?
No specific one. I just like saxophones.
You know, you want to play that Careless Whisper or whatever it's called. You know that little solo from George. Was it George Michael? You know that one that they always play in like romantic movies.
Oh, well, my sister used to play the saxophone and clarinet, and she was really, really good at it, and for some reason gave it up. I mean, we were both pretty musical. But the drums were my number one instrument that I played. If you call that an instrument, some people don't. Some people make fun of me for it.
Why? It's a percussion instrument, just like
I know. But see, when we were taking, like when I would take it music theory, the teacher would always call drummers dummers. Because, I don't know, because we.
Oh, that's a Gene Krupa or
because most drummers don't read music.
Who cares?
Well, apparently that's why he called us dummers. But I can read music, so it doesn't matter.
You can?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. We have to get like a band together or something. Chris plays.
Could be part of an after show.
Yeah, exactly. Chris is great at the guitar. He's really good.
Yeah. And he writes beautiful music too.
Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be fun. We'll all get those Beatles hairdos. It'd be great.
My teacher used to throw like the chalkboard erasers at me when I would keep playing when I wasn't supposed to.
A nun or something?
He was a lunatic.
Was that during high school?
It was junior high.
Oh, junior high. Because by the time I was in high school, like, these things were getting cut. It's like music, home ec, those types of programs were cut, and I never got to experience that in school.
It's funny too because I was the only kid that signed up for choir class, and I was not the only. I was the only boy. It was all women, girls at the time. Oh. And I remember, and it was the same music teacher who I had for music theory. And I remember being there on the first day, and like we're all standing on the like the platform that they have there, because they just told you to stand on the platform, and he looked up at me and he was like, "Oh my God," he couldn't even believe I was there. And they said, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And I was just into music. I mean, I really was, but always have been.
Music is pretty friggin'. The thing that amazes me the most is that you have this fixed number of notes, right? And each of them can be played, like you can make so many permutations and so many chords and so many rhythms and so many instruments could play at the same time, or there can be voice, so that the simple series of notes can be turned into every piece of music there is so remarkable to me. It's very similar to the way that no two people are alike. It's just that the number of configurations is so astounding that it amazes me, And I mean, and especially with classical music. I mean, don't get me started on classical music. I know that's a big snooze, but
Yeah.
but with classical music, there's no comparison in my mind. I mean, to because what you can see in a piece of classical music is remarkable. Codes sometimes, hidden messages, things like that. Sometimes they embed messages in the notes, things like that. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
But you don't like any classical music, Josh?
Do I know any classical music?
Like any classical music? Like, please say at least you like Bach, or you like Bach, right?
No.
All right, I got to give you like a mix CD. Do people still use CDs? Can I make you a mix CD? I think I still have a burner.
No. I mean, you could just
Make sure you give him a list of the songs along with the CD, Doctor.
Yeah, let me tell you something. When I was younger, giving someone a mixtape,
Yeah,
greatest sign of affection.
yeah.
That was the greatest thing to do. You walked up to somebody and you said, I made you this mixtape. And they were like, all right, you're a creeper, or they loved you. It was one or the other. I had mixtapes that were given to me by people.
I remember giving my cousin Eros Ramazzotti and and Andrea Bocelli.
That's pretty Italian.
Yeah.
Andrea Bocelli.
It's just I just thought I was doing something, but it meant it meant so much more than I thought it would to them.
You guys aren't that much older than I am.
No, I mean it depends on your definition of older.
I'm 43.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know. I never gave anybody a mixtape and go, "Oh, here's my."
I did. I loved it.
I have affection for you.
No, I'm telling you, I loved giving people mixtapes. My favorite thing to do. Look, see, people in the audience know what I'm talking about, and I'm not a boomer. What I would, there's nothing about me. What did Sylvia Plath say? I have nothing to do with explosions. But there is I love that line. There was a thing I used to do when I made a mixtape. There would be like 3 or 4 seconds of some terrible song, and then it would end, and I'd go, just kidding. I love to do that. It was like my favorite thing.
One of my favorite albums growing up was the sophomore album by NSYNC.
I like NSYNC.
Oh yeah, dude.
Did I just admit that? Oh my God.
Jeez. Yeah, you did. But see,
you're like competing with the Backstreet Boys around that time, man.
Oh no.
Actually, look, I tried out for a boy band at one point.
Oh really?
God.
Yeah, I did.
Before we jump into this, because we're going to get into a really serious topic, I need to ask you this. What's your most guilty pleasure musician from your youth that you know every word of every song they ever did, and you cannot do it in public? You can't sing it in public, or you're going to look embarrassed. You're going to be embarrassed. But in private, you blast it, you sing it, you know every word. Come on, I got to know this. What's your guilty pleasure? And please don't say like Hanson. What's your favorite? What's your guilty pleasure music?
Maybe I'm going to give away 2 guilty pleasures. Maybe the theme to Young and the Restless.
I'm sorry. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard. I thought you were going to say the Smurfs, but that's all right. And what's the other? That you said 2 guilty pleasures. Oh,
no, that's the song and the show.
Oh, I was trying really good. Barry Manilow's a good one. I know every word.
Yeah.
I've been in trouble sometimes singing that. But Josh, what's your guilty?
Pony by Genuine.
Oh God, help us! Is there another one?
Yeah, and
yeah, go on.
Like a Virgin, Madonna.
Oh no, I like Madonna. I don't think Madonna's anything to be embarrassed about.
It is.
She's like a mood, as they say. I like her. My guilty pleasure is
Bonita.
Avril Lavigne is a guilty pleasure for me. I know every word of every one of those ridiculous sounds. And if it comes on the radio, I roll the window up and I put my hand over my mouth like this because I don't want anybody in the car next to me to see that I'm singing it. I know every single word. It was blasted in my ear for years, and I know all the words. I'm embarrassed.
I used to think that Genuine, when I
It
would
was
hear,
surprise, like she
I
had.
thought Genuine was a woman at first.
Dear Lord.
Really quick, buenas noches a todos. Dr. Gary, after Savannah's interview, many people seem to be changing their views about the family. What psychological mechanisms explain why emotion can outweigh facts in shaping public opinion? It's a good question.
Very good question.
This is a question for me.
Yeah.
I don't think it. I don't know. I don't think that I'm ready to answer that. I think that.
Well, I don't think they're
No,
not.
I don't know. I don't know. People stand all over the place on this case because people really just want closure. And it is a case where the facts, if you follow them in a meticulous way, it's hard to understand anybody being taken off the table. But we have to respect the fact that the sheriff did. I mean, obviously, if the sheriff said that, we have that. It is what it is. But it bothers some people, so they have their own theories and they go on with it anyway. And then there are some people who, think differently. And I think everyone's entitled to their opinion. I'm not so sure that anybody's been swayed one way or the other by that interview. I don't think that. I think
I
if you
haven't even
believe what they believed before it, huh?
I haven't even watched it.
I don't think so. I think it was very emotional and very painful. I think Chris did a show earlier that touched on some of the things that were revealed in it that were really important. Like, there were a lot of things in it that were really interesting. Savannah's spiritual kind of experience surrounding it, finding the door propped open in the back, which is really weird. I mean, it wasn't just left open; it was propped open. That's
So
really.
he's kind of giving away a few things that we've been wondering about as well. Because I didn't listen to the
There were little things in it that were really, really interesting. In fact, I didn't get to watch the whole show,
Okay.
and I want to watch it, to be honest. So I think there's a lot of stuff that's really interesting in there, but I'm not so sure that it changed the minds of anybody. I just think that people who are thinking one thing just think it more firmly, and people who think the other thing think that more firmly. And I think we have to just be agnostic about it.
The back door being mentioned, that's news. I mean, that was
propped open. It was also news to talk about the details about the interaction with the sister surrounding the discovery and the calling around to hospitals and thinking that she, and then Savannah doing that too, and all these things are very important. Do I think it was very emotional? Yeah, of course, and then the nightmarish descriptions of the waking up maybe in the dark and in the bed and being taken in pajamas without your medicine and that she could only basically walk down to the mailbox. There was a lot of things, but I don't believe it changed minds. I don't. I think.
I mean, the things that must go through their mind as a nightmare. I mean, not knowing, and I mean, I can only imagine what it.
Right.
What it feels like.
No, and that's where you come in, right? Because the point of this tonight is to try to introduce some sort of logic and so forth in our reasoning to help us understand a little more what went on here. I mean, it is a case. I think it's very meaningful that technology figures so heavily into it because in many ways it makes it a case of new evil, right? Yeah. Because there are things that couldn't have happened here without technology, right? So it's like in many ways it just sort of like is a good segue to sort of like mute myself and let Josh take this over. So Josh, where do you want to begin with discussing this?
Can I just say something first?
Please.
First, Josh, I just want to say before I forget that I think your mother would be very proud of you for. And I say that for a reason because, some people take the wrong path sometimes, and it's not their fault, when they go through something so dramatic in life. And I think that aspect alone tells you a lot about your personality. Because I've seen it around me that other people that just went down the wrong path because of something that they easily blame sometimes things that happen to them, and I think it's and especially the way you take care of your grandmother.
Well, I really appreciate it. You know, this is like I said, I haven't seen the interview yet. This is right now, honestly, this is the first time that I've sat down in front of my computer in 2 days since I logged off the other night. I have been inundated with phone calls from family members, district attorneys, victim witness, and so I'm very happy to be here doing what I enjoy, discussing these cases with so many great people. So I appreciate that, and it really is, like I said, it is an honor to be able to have this outlet and so many people listening. One thing I wanted to say too, I have not seen this interview, and I know that people are going to say, you know, it seems weird or abnormal, because that's what happens. People always say that, and I got to tell you, I heard this quote one time that always stuck with me. It's abnormal reactions to abnormal situations is normal, and it's just one of those things where, you know, I wouldn't personally read too much into it, but I haven't seen it either, so I don't want to tell people. But Maureen O'Connell said to Brian Inton today that the interview is changing her views about the family a bit, paraphrasing. Well, you know, Maureen is a smart lady, and she's has every right to do that. So,
see, that's interesting to me. I hadn't heard that, but it really is interesting to me. But you don't want to show part of the interview?
Yeah, I guess I could.
Or can you not? Because
I don't know. I was thinking because I kind of want to get into the stuff with Jason, but I think
it feeds right into it because there's discussion of things that are pertinent.
I don't know if I can show it or not. I don't know. I don't see why I couldn't.
We'll just sit here and sing Avril Lavigne.
Won't do that.
What determines that? Is it because sometimes they put a disclaimer on, like, not to replay it on another feed or something? Or?
Some places are very strict about their copyright laws.
Okay.
But let me see here. I can probably play it through Fox. I'm sure that'll make a lot of people happy.
As you're looking for it, I just want to mention I've never seen a case here where, like, you don't even know what crime took place. You know, so there's so many different angles, and you don't even know exactly for sure what happened. Was it a kidnapping? Was it an abduction? For, you know, there's no motive, you know, for certain. And then there's a lot of ifs and buts. You know, maybe they did this, maybe that, and when you have so many obstacles like that, it gets difficult to solve unless you get that, you know, that concrete evidence that's going to crack the case.
Yeah, I'm gonna just play it anyway. It doesn't really matter, and then we will.
It's very you know, it's very emotionally intense.
Okay.
And for you, take me back to the day. It was, I guess, a normal weekend for you.
Yeah.
The weekend your mom went missing. Tell me what you were doing and what happened.
Well, I'd given Mike for Christmas a boys trip to go play tennis, and so he had been gone for the weekend. So I took my kids actually to Carson's.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a beautiful, fun night together, and then I came home. And really, it just got home at the same time that Mike came home. We were just saying hi, putting down our stuff, and the kids were running around. And my sister called me, and I said, "Is everything okay?"
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "No." She said, "Mom's missing." And I said, "What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?" She said, "She's gone."
Pause that a minute, Josh.
And
can you rewind so I can hear again the part about what preceded the phone call? In other words, am I understanding correctly that nobody called her? She called, just made a routine phone call, and then was told, no, everything isn't okay. Mom's missing. Is that what you're saying? In other words, no one rang her up and said, oh my God, Mom's missing.
Yeah, it sounds like, yeah.
Let me hear that again. I didn't notice that now.
Full. fun night together, and then I came home, and really it just got home at the same time that Mike came home.
It sounds like her sister did call her.
Yeah,
Just
that's
saying
what I
hi,
think.
putting down our stuff, and the kids were running around. And my sister called me.
Oh,
There you go.
and
Okay.
Got it. It's just I thought I misunderstood it a second. Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
I said, "Is everything okay?" And she said, "No." She said, "Mom's missing." And I said, "What?
Now I got it.
What are you talking about?" She said, "She's gone." And she was in a panic. I was in a panic. I'm like, "Call 911."
Yeah.
She's like, "I did. We've called them. They're here." And we thought that she must have had like some kind of medical episode in the night, and that somehow, the paramedics had come because the back doors were propped open, and that didn't make any sense. We thought maybe they came and there was a stretcher and they took her out the back. But her phone was there and her purse was there.
that would go along into the theory about Porch Guy being, he's there to get rid of the camera, but that they were already inside from the back. That does make sense.
And all her things.
Oh, yeah, it makes a lot of sense now, because the back door, if that's how they got in, then you're right, Josh. The front door, I've said it from the beginning that my sense was that the reasoning for going up to that camera was there's a few things, and then later on I'm going to give a complete analysis as to what type of pre-scoping could have been done here. But the camera alone at the front door, we don't know if the perp knew that who else has that application on their phone and is receiving those alerts. We don't know for certain if they knew she had a subscription or not. So I think that it was, and like I said before when I called in, is that I think when he picked up that vegetation, it was like, oh, no, I'm supposed to break it. That kind of moment I saw in him. Kind of like someone told him and he forgot. I don't know. I caught that like in a glimpse of a second. I'm thinking that's what was going through his head. And the reason for breaking in the camera is to minimize and reduce the amount of alerts that and recordings that are going to come out of the motion that's going to be detected, knowingly that they are going to take her out from the front door. That, in my opinion.
Okay, gotcha.
Interesting.
And it just didn't make any sense. So, Annie and Tommy had already called all the hospitals, but then I'm like, I'm going to call the hospital. So then I started calling the hospitals, and the police were there and talking to her at the same time. And it was just chaos and disbelief.
Within hours, Savannah was making the long journey home to Tucson.
You saw Annie and Cam when you got to their house. Tell me about that moment.
Just disbelief and hugging each other. And I think we were on the phone with the sheriff and trying to, really make clear from the very early moments, Annie and Tommy were saying, this isn't that case that you are used to where someone wanders off. She can't wander off. My mom, she was in tremendous pain. Her back was very bad. She was trying to, on a good day, she could walk down to the mailbox and get the mail, but most days not. So there was no wander off. And the doors were propped open.
Yeah.
And there was blood on the front doorstep. And the Ring camera had been yanked off.
Yeah.
And so we were saying, this is
do something.
This is not okay.
Yeah.
This isn't, something is very wrong here.
Yeah. Did you guys talk about what possibly could have happened? Like what could have happened? What went down? Did you?
I think my brother, my siblings are so amazing. My brother, he spent his career in the military and worked in intelligence and is a fighter pilot and is brilliant. And he saw very clearly right away what this was.
Yeah.
And even on the phone, when I called him, he knew.
He knew.
And he said, I think she's been kidnapped for ransom. And I said,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Well, why? What? And then, I mean, it sounds so like, how dumb could I be? But I didn't want to believe. I just said, do you think because of me? And he said, I'm sorry, sweetie, but yeah, maybe. But I knew that.
You did.
I hope not. I mean, we still don't know.
Mhm.
Honestly, we don't know anything.
No.
We don't know anything. So I don't know
Yeah.
that it's because she's my mom and somebody thought, oh, that girl, that lady has money. We can make a quick buck. I mean, that would make sense, but we don't know. But yeah, that's probably, which is too much to bear. To think that I brought this to her bedside, that it's because of me. And I just say, I'm so sorry, Mommy. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to my sister and my brother and my kids and my nephew and Tommy and my brother-in-law. I'm like, so sorry. I'm so sorry. If it is me, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom.
In the initial days, you and your sister and brother sat together. In all the despair, you sat and managed to think of words to say. How were you able to do that in that moment?
Well, my siblings are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And we are a unit. And I talked about how brilliant my brother is, but my sister is equally brilliant and also has special powers of intuition and faith and language and depth and heart. And I feel like we came together with all these beautiful gifts that came from our mom and dad and from God. And somehow together we did our best to come up with the words to say. And I haven't posted one thing or said one thing that the three of us haven't decided together. It is surreal. How is it possible that we are having to make a video speaking to a kidnapper who took an 84-year-old woman in the dead of night in her pajamas with no shoes, without her medicine, this little person, and to beg for mercy.
In the days that followed, multiple notes demanding payment were sent to various media outlets.
The ransom
Apparently she
notes
thinks
or
that
ransom
a couple of them might be
requests
real.
came. Did you believe those to be real?
Oh, what's that?
Apparently she thinks they were real. The ransom notes were real.
Really?
That's revealed here. Yeah, you'll see.
There are a lot of different notes, I think, that came.
It's a couple.
And I think most of them, it's my understanding, are not real, and I didn't see them. But, a person that would send a fake ransom note really has to look deeply at themselves.
Yeah.
To a family in pain. But I believe the 2 notes that we received, that we responded to, I tend to believe those are real.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Even though there was
When
no
the Ring camera video surfaced and you could see who that person was, just tell me what you thought when you saw those images of the person who took your mother.
I mean, it's just absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
It's just totally terrifying. And I can't imagine that is who she saw standing over her bed.
Yeah.
I can't. It's too much.
Yeah.
And I'm glad and grateful to the investigators and the technology companies that were able to find that video. To, I hope, at least with people of good heart and compassion, stop the irresponsible and cruel speculation that had started to swirl.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
I'm glad that people saw
Yeah.
what came to our door.
Yeah. When you talk about the cruel speculation, the whispers, the innuendo that it was somebody in your family, how did you weather that?
It's unbearable.
Yeah.
And it piles pain upon pain. There are no words. There are no words. I don't understand. I'll never understand. And no one took better care of my mom than my sister and brother-in-law. And no one protected my mom more than my brother. And we love her, and she is our shining light. She's our matriarch. She's all we have.
Savannah and her family stayed together in Arizona for weeks as the media coverage grew more intense.
We had to move houses many times because people came, and not everyone is respectful, unfortunately. You know, and there was a night we had to leave in the dark in the desert, holding hands, me and my sister and brother and I, get into a car waiting for us to, because the people outside were closing in. So we found a place that was safe, and then we couldn't really leave too much. So like those days are a blur.
Yeah.
Crying and praying.
How did your family feel about the way the investigation was conducted?
Well, it's still going.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
people have worked tirelessly. And we see that. But we need answers. We cannot be at peace without knowing. And someone can do the right thing. And it is never too late to do the right thing. And our hearts are focused on that.
I think where Savannah ended that.
I didn't know that Carson Daly was part of the Today Show. Do you want to do the second part? It's 12 minutes.
I mean, it's
First,
really powerful to watch it, but
Sure.
You speak
Yeah.
about your mom always.
Doctor, am I correct when, like, I really think she's being sincere when she says, like, they don't know anything else? Like, there's no other details, there's...
I can't tell anything like that just looking at the.
Okay.
But I think that the affect, the crying, and so forth. I mean, there does seem to be authentic feeling there. I mean, of course. I mean,
Well,
wouldn't
I
I don't doubt it for a minute. I mean, I think
I don't
that's
think
authentic, and I
at
think
all.
what she's saying she believes.
Yeah.
But it's very painful to listen to it
Oh,
because
yeah,
the actions
absolutely
are
it is.
horrendous. I
Yeah.
mean, if you think about it, I mean, what she's basically saying is, in addition to the idea that as soon as I start to think something happened to my mother, it's got to be pretty bad, right? Like the details she gets, starts allowing herself to glimpse, the elderly woman in bed, maybe in the dark, person comes in, does God knows what to her, the whole thing. That's bad enough. And then it was the idea that it sort of caught her completely off guard. She's like, here, has to like race home with her thoughts, flooding her. And then, she feels that they haven't had a moment to sit still and think about it because people are coming at them from all sides, and it's hard. And so I really, really think, I don't know. I just think that, how do I say this? I just don't want to comment on what she's feeling because there is no scenario in which anybody thinks that Savannah is anything but a person who, maybe lost her mother. You know what I mean? And that it's a horrible thing.
Oh, I bet you there is.
I haven't heard anybody say anything like that. That's great. No.
In the present tense.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think so.
I mean, she is present tense to me.
Do you feel her or have you heard her any moments?
I thought that was a very powerful question.
Yeah.
And one that that's one that I thought it was brave to ask. It was a very beautiful question to ask somebody.
Because a lot of people do, right? After someone passes you, where you have that one dream, that first dream about them,
that thing of saying, like, have you felt the person? Do you feel their presence?
Yeah.
But the reason I think it's beautiful is because it's like a gentle way of saying, have you begun to think about the possibility that she's not here anymore? Yeah. And that she may be trying to tell you that she's okay and that you know what I mean? It's like it pushes you towards possible acceptance.
Well, I had a palpable talk, one-way talk last night because I thought that somebody was listening to me when I was talking.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. What?
Beautiful question. Watch it again. Listen to the way she phrases it. I have to give her credit. I just, as somebody who has to talk to people dealing with loss, I thought it was powerful.
In the present tense.
Yeah.
You speak about your mom always in the present tense.
Yeah. I mean, she is present tense to me.
Do you feel her or have you heard her any moments?
Yeah, a little bit.
Tell me about your mommy. Just tell me about her.
My mom she's incredible. She's resolute and strong. Quiet strength, quiet faith, but hard fought. She's funny and a little mischievous, I would say, in her humor. She's a noble creature. She does what's right. She walks in faith, but not a fake, pious, put on faith, but like a grounded, earthy, she fought for it faith.
When you posted Please Pray in the beginning, the ocean of love and prayers. Did you feel that? Did you sense what was happening?
I do feel prayers, I do. I believe that. I think she would have been just amazed, just truly amazed.
One of the images that stayed with me through all of this was you and Annie and Tommaso walking up and looking at the flowers and at the notes. As I saw that, I thought, oh, I wonder if Savannah's going inside, and what that must have felt like for you to go inside of your mom's, your childhood home, your mom's house.
Yeah, this is the house that we grew up in. It's really the only house I've ever known and remember. So we moved there when I was about 4, I think. Mm-hmm. It's the house where I came home on a Friday night at 16, and my mom and sister were on the couch praying and told me that my father had died. It's the house where all of our memories are, good and bad. So it's hallowed ground. My mom loved and treasured that house. In good years and lean years, they were able to hold on to that house. That's my mom's safe haven. It was really hard to see that violated, and the terror that she must have felt is unbearable. It's unbearable.
Tell me, while you were spending all this time in Tucson, your kids were home, what do they know?
Well, it's so hard with kids because, you want to protect them. Dale would write me all the time, Mama, any leads? Do you hear anything? Any hope? And I think that, we tried to talk to them and try to give them a little more certainty than we have, to let them grieve. And for my little nephew Olmo too, there's just a way in which this is even so much harder on Annie and Tommy and Olmo because they're there.
They're there, yeah.
And they were there every day for my mom. They made it possible for her to stay in the house we grew up in that she loved so much. I think she always stayed in that house because I think she still felt my father there. All our memories. Let her have her space. And there's just a way in which this is just even more excruciating for them and all that they've been through.
I know it was a hard decision for you, and I know you told me about this, was coming back here, leaving Arizona to come back to New York. Why was that so difficult, that choice?
I looked out the window of the airplane and just thought, where are you?
Yeah.
That desert, that beautiful desert that she loves. Where are you? Yeah. How could I leave you? But my mom taught me a lot about grief. Our family knows grief. My father passed when I was 16 years old. He was only 49. It was a shock. And I remember my mom saying in those early days when Daddy died, you have to get up and decide and do. Just decide and do. And she had read that in a book that meant a lot to her and her grief. And so I always remember that. So I'm trying to decide and do. Just get up and decide and do every day. You know, I've felt terrible grief, and I felt unfathomable love and comfort. The goodness and kindness of God is remarkable, and in equal measure to my sorrow. Wow. She showed us how to survive the unimaginable. When she lost my dad, she was 46 years old. She had 3 kids. She had never worked outside the home. She had to get up. She had to find a job. She had to mother 2 teenagers and 1 young adult just starting making his way into the world. She took care of her mother, her brother, who had Down syndrome. She invited to come live with us. She worked part-time.
I didn't know she had a mother
to make
a brother that
ends kind of meet.
You know what I'm getting from this interview?
What?
How special of a lady Nancy is. Just like a salt of the earth mother who did everything for her children, and even in the worst of times.
Yeah.
I mean, losing your husband when you're a stay-at-home mother trying to it's pretty unbelievable. She's
Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of what I'm getting from it.
Yeah. And what a heartbreaking scenario. I mean, it's personal because the reporter has met her as well. You know, she's been on the show, so there's a personal connection there. It's also a colleague. So it's there's a whole bunch of emotions there, and it's a beautiful interview, but it's very heartbreaking to see.
Yeah, as somebody who has blamed themselves for circumstances outside of their control for years, when she was blaming herself, I mean, is it because of me? And I would have thought the same thing too if I was her. Immediately, I really would have.
Well,
I understand, but I don't like it when it angers me that the victims end up, taking blame themselves for the evil of other people. It's the other person. It's the evil that should not be committing these things.
Correct.
And I understand we can all learn from stuff, but I find it even more heartbreaking that when you're looking at yourself saying, "Oh, I shouldn't have done this or that," and
Yeah, but as somebody who does a lot of work with victims of crime and families, I think it has something to do with the idea that, as I've explained to many people, is that when you're terrified because something random has happened, it's almost comforting to try to come up with an explanation, like, if I only did this, this wouldn't have happened. Because otherwise you're basically saying at any moment, without any control whatsoever, something could just come out of nowhere and do. It's sort of like when 9/11 happened, a lot of people wanted to believe it was an inside job. Well, that's because it would almost be more comforting to think that it wasn't something that just happened to us. You know what I mean? That you almost had something to do with it. This is very, very important psychologically to understand. But you have to understand, as I'm listening to this is unfortunately a huge chunk of what I hear a lot.
Yes.
And I mean, and I really mean that. I mean, this everything about this is like textbook in terms of going through the entirety of the experience. And you can almost feel the process of moving stages and
exactly right.
unfathomable and so forth. And
she's telling a story of emotion.
Telling a story through emotion, exactly. But exactly. Which is funny because everybody thought we were going to have a show tonight about the technical, and it wound up being quite an emotional one, right? But I think that it's just interesting how grief has a way of being very particular to the person, and yet it's completely universal.
Sure.
Like the best poetry, right? You listen to her and you go, "Oh yeah, I've been there. I get it." You know what I mean?
Another job,
Absolutely.
a job she turned into a full-time job, a job she turned into a career. She had a second life of purpose and meaning. She had a million friends. She stayed strong for us. She was resolute. She was real. She grieved. I remember moments in my childhood and those days after my dad died. She was so strong. But some mornings before dawn, when she thought we were still sleeping, I would hear her crying at my door. To not be alone in her grief. So she taught me to be strong, but she taught me to be true. My faith is strong and resolute. But I, early on, felt that I heard, for one of the very few times in my life, I did hear God speak to me.
This is very powerful, this part. I heard this part.
As I said to myself, I can handle anything, God. I can handle anything. I just can't handle not knowing. We can't handle not knowing.
Yeah.
I have to know. And I heard a voice. And it said, you do know where she is. She's with me. She's with me. So whether she is on this earth still, or whether she is in heaven, I know where she is. I know who she's with. But we need to know.
The sword shall pierce your heart. You know, a grief is such a powerful thing, my God. But, you know, it seems like when someone arrives at acceptance after all the stages, you know. That's why I told you when I work with people who are dealing with grief, it often culminates in a dream or an event that makes the person feel that there's been a signal that from the other side that the person is okay, and it becomes a kind of acceptance. You know, I love the dreams people have. I've talked about them before, Josh. The dreams people have, where there's some symbolism that is supposed to be heaven, right? You know, I saw my father sitting on a couch that was studded with diamonds, and he was very comfortable. You know, my mother was coming at me in a field where all the trees had golden fruit on them. You know, it's like your brain's way of trying to capture the idea of joy, right? And whether it's psychological or truly spiritual, that's a matter of opinion, right? But one way or the other, it signals the point at which your mind can accept it. And
which is sad what she's going through, you know.
right.
And also the part of it reminds me of when someone passes away in the family, and I'm like, oh, I should have done this, should have asked the doctor that, should have maybe told the doctor this, you know, and yeah.
Right. Shoulda. The shoulds. The tyranny of the shoulds.
And Vicky, thank you so much for that super chat. Appreciate it very much. Please profile victim 52 years with elders. They're more strong than weak. If injured, she probably kicked, screamed, hit, bit. She would be precious cargo if kidnapped, and most likely hurt from.
That's been my phrase all along. She'd be precious cargo.
Yep. Fight, gag, restrain, injured, wanting to advocate for us oldies. Yes, I agree with you. I think that, you know, and I witnessed a bit of this yesterday, is that, you know, everybody was very worried about my grandmother during, you know, what was going on. And she was like probably the strongest one in the room because she's experienced life. You know, this isn't the first. So Vicky, I completely understand what you mean.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I don't think that, you know, just because she's elderly, it just makes her more vulnerable. That's the issue, you know, because you can't put up as much of a fight. You can't protect yourself as much as you could if you were in good shape. But I'm with you. I think that, you know, I've always had this theory that women emotionally, you know, men physically are stronger, but women are emotionally stronger because when things fall apart, and it's usually the man who makes things fall apart, the women mothers have to put it back together. And you know, it's no different in this situation where Savannah's mother or father passes away, and Nancy puts the family on her back.
Yeah.
You know? She's a strong lady, you know. And now I'm not painting in a broad. I'm not saying that that's the case for everything. I know somebody's going to go, well, Josh, you didn't know my this or that. Yeah, I get it. I'm just saying overall, that's my experience, and that's what I think. But Vicky, I don't disagree with you. And so let's move on to the let's talk some technicality here, Jason. You know, they're talking about the back door being open.
Yeah.
And now, you know, then we have the guy at the front with the bush, and then he destroys it. Kind of tell me what you were thinking and what you wanted to explain to us, because I know that you have some thoughts here.
Yeah. First, if we go to the beginning, there's not even evidence of some scoping going on beforehand, and you're taking a major risk when doing that, because you're taking more of a chance of being caught, of being filmed doing it. We don't know what devices they had on them during that time, because mind you, they're just scoping, they're not doing anything those nights. So there's always more of a risk when you're doing that, because you're gonna be seen on cameras. It may get suspicious on a quiet street. You don't know the frequency of how everyone on that street is overlooking all of their footage. And the more you show up, the more alerts that you know you're going to be sending out to people that there's motion there. So there's and the reason why I mentioned that it's a huge risk is that there was a goal here, because you're not going to take all these major risks without, you know, some sort of planning, some sort of these guys had a goal, or whether it be alone or multiple people. I mean, we still don't know. I'm assuming there is more than one, but I think that there was a goal here in mind, and especially for you to go ahead and take these risks of doing that. I want to address the January 11th and it's the 24th, I believe, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So on January 11th, the neighbor that a few houses down was actually on Nancy Grace, and had explained about the dogs. And now, what I did not know, what I learned from the latest show that I had listened to when the neighbor was on, that person lost Wi-Fi 2 times. One time on January the 11th and on the 24th. That's a little bit too much of a coincidence for me. Fine, 2 times, it happens. You know, it happens to me here too. But if it's going to be the 2 times when I'm about to send out a project that I just completed, and it's going to be worthy cause for the organization I work for, then I'm going to be suspicious about it if it's 2 times. So, that being said, on the porch that is not a Wi-Fi jammer. A jammer has multiple antennas and is a lot larger. And you're also taking more of a risk when jamming, because and which is another reason why I think it is a single point of taking care of the camera of the neighbor. Yeah, so let me jump to that. That I think that on January 11th and the 24th, there's something called deauthentication, de-offing Wi-Fi. Now, there's a gamble with this, because you're dealing with old protocols, meaning that internet has evolved how we're connecting with our modems and what goes on in the back end when you just go to google.com. Well, and your internet provider is sending you all the packets and the information for you to be able to browse the web. Things have evolved in there, but yet there's still, think of it as radio stations and walkie-talkie frequencies. They've evolved over time, and they've gotten more clear, and certain radio stations have jumped from one number to the other to the next. So it's the same idea that goes on with Wi-Fi. As Wi-Fi evolves, we're changing frequencies, but there's still some old people that, let's say, the big AOL phase where everybody had AOL in the States. There's still a lot of people that still have that same modem and that same connection. You see, so there's things that haven't changed there. And if you're not, if you're someone that's not up to speed on that, and does not take the time to call your carrier or your providers to say, hey, I want to make sure my devices have the latest firmware on it. I want to make sure I'm up to date here. Like, these are things that we all should be asking, and it should not be up to the client, but that's reality with all these things. So what I believe is that on the 11th and the 24th, most likely, he did a deauthentication of the Wi-Fi. Now, keep in mind that when you're up to malicious criminal activity like this, who knows what kind of research these guys were doing. You can find how to make a homemade jammer even online. Okay, something as simple as tinfoil and a microwave can, disrupt Wi-Fi. I have way too many gadgets in my place, because I'm just a tech who spends too much on gadgets, and it ends up interfering with the Wi-Fi at times. So that is normal. But when I heard the two specific times at those particular moments when they were scoping out the area, then there's definitely something suspicious there. Now, I know that they have not come out and said, that the sheriff's department has not come out and said for sure that is January the 11th. There's a lot of speculation, and there's also a lot of sources, like Nancy Grace says that she has a source that tells her that it is January 11th, and now they're pretty much assuming it. The reason why they wouldn't come out and say it is because these photos and these images and these looping videos that have been taken from the server and the cameras, the footage, there's no time stamping on it, but there is megadata behind it. And what megadata is that when you take a picture on your cell phone, there's a story behind it. There's a digital print on that photo. It can tell me where you took it from, what time you took it at, approximately, if there's no stamping in it. It could tell me where you were, the coordinates. Now, over time, if that picture just stays there on your phone, then it's good as being taken yesterday. But if you start deleting it, then slowly, all that mega data behind it gets slowly removed each and every single time. So it's hard enough as is just to get the footage back that I keep talking about that was looped over and they're scraping for. Then the mega data gets even more complex after it's been recycled so many times. But what I can tell you is that what they most probably have of the January 11th, which would explain why they had where the time when they had suspected those raids that they conducted, and there was speculation that perhaps they must have been in the area or something, or they must have information on them. And then when they were asking for video on the 11th and the 24th, there's ways for them to kind of, for Nest and for the FBI to kind of figure out around what time, around what date those images were put, because they're most likely doing some mismatching of this file, this period of time. So it's not necessary that they're looking at the timestamp of it, but they have a good sense that it was indeed on the 11th because of that, because of the time frame that it was saved on, and that data, it shows some activity because they can go look at the activity of the servers and see what time these things were put there.
So you think that basically them or him or whoever showed up previously is sort of a test run?
Well, you see, that's the thing, is that we don't know why they're doing this. So, I mean, Doctor, does it even make sense if this was a kidnapping and an abduction? Are you going to do a pre-run like that? Like, are you going to scope the area? I understand scoping the area, like being in your car driving away, but to get so noticed, to be dressed up in the same outfit, was it supposed to be the actual night and then they called it off?
It's a good question. I mean, it is possible that it was like a kind of dry run. It's possible that there was an intention of doing it that day and something spooked them and they returned and did it again. It's possible that some poor person, some idiot was, hired to do something and they almost wanted him to get to be on the camera because then all the attention go on that person. There's all kinds of possibilities. We don't know. But I think most people are interpreting it that they were casing the place.
Yeah.
But I'm not so sure that that's what you would expect to see. But I think we don't have enough data to know what it means.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that
it's too much risk.
Yeah, there is a lot of digital risk involved. Now, back to that risk, and dry run at the same time. Okay, if their plan was, regardless actually of what their plan is, okay, if they went there to scope things out and to be masked up like that on the 11th, which makes sense to me now, that the still image that they showed, the one where there's no movement, and then you can see the moon is a different lighting and the rocks are misplaced, because most likely that's the image that's coming from the 11th. You're taking a big risk because the cameras could be motion and so forth. So it could also be a technical scope to see, is something going to show up in the news in a few days? Were they trying to figure out, does she have a subscription? Were they trying to figure out, is this someone? Maybe these people were paid to go scope there to say, hey, we need to find out if this person has a subscription or not. We need to find out if this person is even checking their coverage. Is this going to end up on the news a few days from now? Then we know that we can't do this in this way that they were planning. So that could have been the attempt there. Then the reason why I mentioned the deauthentication on the night of on the 11th and the 24th is that apparently they were able to go into that person's backyard and alley, and they're able to, there's a path to Nancy Guthrie's house, and the suspicion that may have been the way that they went into the backyard from someone else's. Perhaps if there was other people involved, that's where they came from.
Jason, explain what de-authentication means.
Okay, so you're basically shielding off the Wi-Fi from working, and what you're doing is that you're actually going into one specific device, not the entire network. So they may have targeted just that camera. And how they could do this is because it's a little device that you can wear on your wrist that does that. It's like a walkie-talkie where you're.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Just before you move on, because I don't understand something.
Mm-hmm.
The back door is propped open, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a camera back there too?
That's the thing, is that we don't know where these cameras are placed.
Yeah, because I mean, why go through the front?
Exactly. Yeah.
But maybe they had to bring her out the front.
Because why? The car's there?
Because maybe they had to jump the fence or jump a fence to get into the back, because that was the easiest way for them to get in, because the front door was deadbolted. Maybe the back door was
clearly trying to get into the front door. No.
Say that again.
You think the guy's trying to get in through the front door? Or he's just
no. I think that he's there. I think that he's there.
She has to be brought out the front, and they don't want it on camera. Is that the idea?
Yes, I think that's this guy's job, was to go get rid of the camera at the front, through the front door.
So there must be a car parked out there somewhere where the blood happens to stop, by the way.
Probably.
Because she has to be brought out the front. So you're thinking that they go through the back, prop the door open with so why prop the door open if you're not taking somebody out through the back? What are you bringing in?
I think it's how they got in. I think it's how someone from the. I don't think the guy from the front. I think the guy from the front went in the back after.
Yeah, propped open doesn't mean like it was just all the way open. I mean, it could have just been, that could have just been a little bumper there or something,
Why? Why?
See,
I don't know. Maybe it would automatically lock if it's shut.
Given the technical risk, of showing up there,
I think she tended to leave it unlocked.
That could be.
Yeah, apparently someone had said that. Yeah,
to leave it unlocked.
Yeah. Savannah had said that as well. Apparently, I heard.
Yeah. So I think so.
It just doesn't make sense. It's bothering me. It doesn't make sense.
No, and also technically it doesn't make sense, because if you have a plan, you're not going to go and put this major risk on it by showing up there so many times.
Exactly.
And then the whole thing, gets scrapped. And that's why, in my opinion, I still think that whoever's involved here has some kind of personal connection to the house. I think it was someone who had worked in the neighborhood, whether it be next door or a neighbor of a neighbor's gardener, whatever, something along the lines that they were able to know. I'm still convinced they did know that she did not have a subscription.
So wait, why do they have to make multiple visits and scope the place out if they know the place intimately?
That's a good point. Maybe for the other people that were involved, maybe they're trying to decide what entry points to go in.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is, so and they're not going to pull that. They're not going to pull a car up right in front of the house until that camera is offline. Now, because that's why he destroys it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I might just be explaining as to how they figured out that she didn't have a subscription, is by showing up so many times, and no one's called the police to say there's suspicious people just in mass head to toe. Then there's definitely not a subscription there. And there's different types of scoping that they could have done. I mean, I'll just give you an example. I could turn my car into an office, into a technical office, like with all kinds of gadgets and everything. So this is what they could have been doing. There's devices you could buy to find out what Wi-Fi is connected to what, and you can do scoping of an actual network. Get an idea what devices are in someone's house, and that's the same thing with the authentication, is that it's a little device that you're basically tuning it into a certain frequency that that other devices in that house works out of, and you're gonna shut down those frequencies. You're gonna basically block them and fool the device thinking that it's connected, but it's not. And this is a lot less sophisticated than an actual jammer, because it's also an old style that you're taking a chance of even trying it, because most people are not working off of those frequencies, but there's some that are. But there's a way for you to find out what frequency it is. There's little things that you could do with the by attempting to connect to the camera and so forth. There could be things, and if this happened to be someone who was working at a neighbor's house or something, then they might know the neighbor. They may have known the neighbor's situation of their network. So they could have actually targeted just that one camera the 2 times, not the entire internet. Because I find it way too much of a coincidence that they're there scoping it out, and at the same time the dog wants to go outside, and he's never wanted to go outside before.
The neighbor's dog, you mean?
Yeah. So, and then the internet to go down at the same time, that's a little bit too much of a
what day was the dog? Was that the 11th?
Yeah. And then apparently he also said that it was the 24th as well. Now, I would have loved to have asked the neighbor, how did you find out that the Wi-Fi went down, and was it anything else? There's more technical questions I would have liked to ask. I would like to know, was it the entire house? Was it a span of hours? Was it was something interrupted? Like, was your printer connected the next day? Because when you start fooling around with, and even jamming too, because you're basically sending signals out that are blocking the other signals from coming in. So conflicts can happen.
Right, but just to understand, I mean, Bob Gilliam, that excellent former, retired homicide detective, has been on the interview room with me and Chris McDonough and John Lamb and Mike Miller and Maureen O'Connell a few times. He talked about, and I think Maureen agreed with him, that they think that the guy at the door is actually has like a walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, unless I'm very much mistaken, dogs who have a much higher, more sensitive hearing range than we do can hear the sounds that are being emitted by electronics, right? Like high-pitched things, distorted things, stuff like that. And I can imagine that if there's a walkie-talkie or something, the dog could be responding to the frequency and coming out and react. Now, Josh, that's true, right?
Oh, well, it's funny that you say that, because I just watched something the other day where this guy was hunting a pig, and the pig, he had like a walkie-talkie device, and he said every time he'd bring the walkie-talkie device or something, I think it was a walkie-talkie, the pig never showed up. He left it the one time, and the thing showed up.
Oh, really? That's
yeah, because they're extremely smart, and it's the same thing like as a dog whistle, but they let off these high pitch frequencies that humans can't hear. But if I was to take a walkie-talkie and crank it up around my dogs, they would definitely have a reaction to it.
I'm saying I can't help but think that, because the idea of the dog kind of whimpering and wanting to go outside, that's very interesting.
Absolutely.
They want to find out the source of that. Macho, for as ridiculous as he is, he responds to those sort of things, those sort of sounds frequently. Skunks, they make this really high-pitched noise that a lot of people can't hear, but dogs pick up on it, and he wants outside. He wants to go outside. Whether he doesn't have to go pee, he just wants to go outside.
Yeah.
He wants to know what that is. So yes, I would agree with that.
And what's also interesting is that not only did the dogs want to go outside, the neighbor explained that, I mean, he only realized it later, that they wanted to walk in the direction towards Nancy Guthrie's house.
Correct.
So maybe there was a smell, there's something, funny there.
That's a good point too. But I wonder also, for some reason, I find myself wondering about the dog that Nancy had until, what was it, December?
Yeah.
That's interesting too.
It is.
Following month that it just sort of makes me wonder if in the surveillance or analysis or whatever, the absence of a dog, added to the targeting, if it mattered in terms of the ease of getting in there or something. I mean, let's face it, get yourself a nice big dog and you're going to decrease your chances of somebody breaking in. You know what I mean? I mean, Josh, wouldn't your dogs go ballistic?
Yeah, but
But what are they going to do, right?
They're useless as a crap flavored lollipop. Remember?
Oh yes. Awesome.
When it comes to that stuff, I've had the dog that I had before, Maggie May, who was a chocolate lab.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, but you wouldn't come in without permission.
Oh yeah, they're very defensive of their owners.
My cousin tried to climb through my window one time while I was asleep, and he thought it'd be funny. And she grabbed a hold of his arm as soon as his hand came through and shook it like an alligator. You know how like an alligator kind of.
Oh yeah. They can get really.
Yeah, and he said, "Get this dog off of me!" And I was laughing. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. One of the scariest things that ever happened to me in my whole life was when I was a little boy. I was attacked by a junkyard dog. Was a German Shepherd that was chained in the neighbor's yard, and I went over to it and was petting it. And it jumped on me sort of like the way you would imagine a wolf would. It pinned me down with its paws and put its snout in my face and was biting me all over the place. I'll never forget it. But I still love them. But you would think I'd be completely traumatized. But I love dogs. Do you have a favorite breed, John? Is it the breed you have?
No.
You know what my favorite breed is? Believe it or not, beagles. I'm obsessed.
No.
I love them.
My favorite breed would be a lab, but
they're cute.
I do look. I love the two dogs that I have. I love dearly, but they're every dog that I've had mostly took care of me with very little I didn't have to do. I walk them and feed them. Like last night, Otis woke up. He broke out in hives from something he got into, and I had to. It was 3 a.m. I had to clean his ears and shampoo him at 3 a.m. So he's like a little, and I don't even know what he got into. I was like,
oh, there, something else.
He has these he has all these like skin allergies and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I have a cockapoo.
Oh, nice.
Those are awesome. I love those. I'm basically alive today because of a husky. Because my great-grandfather was driving along a road in Italy and with the husky that he had rescued. Very beautiful, with the blue eyes and the whole thing. And the car, for whatever reason, he sort of passed out or something. And the car toppled over into the water. And the dog pulled him out by the scruff of his, by his collar, pulled him out of the water in a passed out state. And he woke up on the shore. And so, of course, the dog was revered. And so the idea being that if it weren't for that husky, my family lineage would have ended there. So that dog was responsible for that. But it's quite amazing to me because my grandfather was pretty big, and I can't picture the dog doing it, but he did. Pulled him right out onto the land. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah, that's pretty unbelievable.
Well, it happened. I mean, he must have been floating a little or something, and the dog sort of paddled them, to the something like that. But he took them right out of the. It was like one of those very early kind of crappy cars. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you're like outside of the car, kind of. Anyway, so you can thank a husky that I'm here, or you can curse the breed. I'm not sure. You feel what you want to, but
Are these doors in the back? Are those sliding doors, or are they just French doors, or what are they?
doors. I see that sort of cobweb design you've got going on back. There's no picture on the screen. Just
I understand. I was looking at something from earlier. How dare you, Dr. Gary?
Dare I what?
I don't know. Mock me?
Mock me?
Mock me. Does anybody? They're sliders. Okay, so when we say propped open, I mean we're not talking about like a.
I don't see sliders. I see spiders. Get the web off the screen and put the sliders. I can't see them.
Hold on. Let me get the.
It's interesting the little details that Savannah gave out during that interview.
And they're very important.
Yeah, she polarized cameras, it seems, and so there must have been more cameras. I know that there was talk from the sheriff in the beginning. There was cameras in the back
and on the roof.
Yeah, and on the roof. Yeah, but it looks like so far they haven't been able to pull any videos from those. But they do have still images apparently from the ones that were pointing towards the backyard, but the sheriff department said that they're not relevant to the case. Could have been on days before, days prior, and I took that as good news because and still now the forensic of this stuff can take a long time because, like I said, you're dealing with footage that's been deleted over and over, and you're trying to find it, scrape it up. And that's why these relationships with these because Savannah mentioned it in the interview, it's so important for these companies. And I give credit, a lot of credit to Nest for working with the FBI, because sometimes there's disagreements with law enforcement. Like Apple always has a big fight with law enforcement when it comes to they're often asked, can you unlock someone's phone for us, and they're not doing it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your attention to little details. It's very, very important. I mean, I think that's the difference between good and bad detection, is realizing that, there's a tradition where I always, as a rule now, to torture Josh, I don't appear on an episode without mentioning Sherlock Holmes. It's like a drinking game. See, he knows. And there is a famous scene in Man with the Twisted Lip, where Sherlock is looking at an envelope, and he smells it, and he says, "The man who gummed down the envelope, unless I am very much mistaken, was chewing tobacco." And he says, "This is a trifle, of course, but there's nothing so important as trifles." Well, that's true. Absolutely true. Now, so the idea is you picking up, for example, as you said, cameras is a trifle, and yet it isn't. See, very, very interesting. And I think those little things are how you catch a person, particularly because the trifles, the extras, the risks people take, the unnecessary, that's how you get a sense of personality and the stuff that goes beyond the practical. You know what I mean? So I get frustrated with a investigation that doesn't pay attention to the little trifles.
Right.
I'm just very frustrated because
it's a problem in my mind. Yeah, you got to think like that every little, like when, for example, the very first day we talked about this case, very, very first day, I'll never forget it. I watched tons of coverage. Okay, and no, not the first day we talked. The first day they had the images of the blood on the port, whatever day that was. And I remember I was on the interview room, and Chris said, I heard nobody else say it. He said, "Look at that. One of the little petals from the flowers is on top of the blood droplet."
I remember that.
Right. Now, it seems like a trifle, but it's not. Because does it imply that the blood was already there when the flowers were used to try to deactivate the camera? Did it get kicked over when somebody was walking out? What did it mean?
Could have been wind.
Like there. That's the key. And now it could mean a lot, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So you know what I'm talking about, Josh, right? Those little things matter the most.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a movie. Sherlock Holmes isn't in it, but it's called. It's called The Small Things, and about detective work. I think Denzel's in it, but we're looking. This is right here at the back. So this is the.
And at the same time, I just want to point out a few things that.
Please do.
People were commenting a lot about something along the lines of the vegetation doing something to the camera, and there's no evidence of that. If anything, Nest and Ring, they advise you to take caution as to what plants and flowers you have near a camera, or how you position a camera, because it can give false motion out.
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. Are you saying that we all think that the guy on the camera is a moron, but that maybe he knew something about the way that plants can mess with the camera?
Well, no, I mean he wouldn't. People in the chat and stuff had read something that the vegetation can fool the camera into not creating motion or something.
I think it's possible that
no, because it doesn't. It's the opposite. Where you're told be careful with that, with having flowers and trees near the camera, because it's going to give you false motion alerts. It's going to give you an alert that someone's walking by, but it's just a flower, moving in the wind.
Right.
So is this the door right here?
Well, that's the other thing. Apparently, they have several doors, And
a lot of them. They're all over the friggin' place.
Yeah.
They're all over the fling of the place. The way you said that,
there's doors everywhere.
They're all over the place.
Oh.
So and the other thing I wanted to mention about that was there's been comments about the pacemaker, and how the data is synced, with the cell phone. So first, back to having making it a risk using a jammer, because you may be asking, okay, if you're gonna go and take care of the neighbor's wife camera, by deauthenticating, like I'm saying they did, why not Nancy's? If you do not know how modern her pacemaker is, okay, then it could be one that is connected to Wi-Fi and a GPS, and not a GPS, but it can send out an alert that pacemaker is offline. Whereas Bluetooth is not set up that way in order to tell you, to tell, Annie and Tommaso in the middle of the night, hey, Angie's pacemaker has been disconnected from her cell phone. You may want to go over there. But no, it doesn't work like that. But with the Wi-Fi connection, the more modern the pacemaker, the more data there is there. So that may be why they didn't use a jammer or deauthenticate her actual internet.
That's interesting. Now, you mentioned cell phone. That's something I really want you to talk about. I mean, do you think that these people had cell phones turned off or what? And if they didn't, what do you think is going on? I mean, in terms of trying to recreate what happened? I mean, obviously, they called, family went there, turned cell phones on, or had cell phones and called hospitals, the ambulance, whatever. But I'm just curious about cell phones in this story. What do you think?
I think by now there would have been data. There would have been matching of the scoping nights till
matching of the scoping. Explain that to the audience.
Okay, so
because Stephen Hawking isn't here to explain it to us. We don't. Right.
So yeah, I always got to explain everything in layman's terms. So when you're going, and that's the thing that frustrates me most about this case is that it's going against the norm now. You can't even leave your house without being recorded, if not only on your own property, but just directly across the street from you. So I don't know how many times these guys went out there, and yeah, okay, we have the footage at the front, but I want the story beforehand. What's happened to all those cameras about when they were 10 minutes away? We should be able to make a digital story there. People having at least their cameras on. But I know it gets tricky there because it's dark and there's so many things.
Right, but like for example, Eric is saying, and Eric Schultz in the audience is saying, I think astutely, that maybe the reason you might have walkie-talkies is because you're not bringing phones.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
and also,
I like that gluing together of two pieces of information.
Yeah,
smart point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right,
yeah.
right. Yeah, and are they safer in terms of transmission and everything? More private?
Yeah, well, I mean you have less of a gamble because basically you would have to have someone with a police scanner that would normally pick up those frequencies of walkie-talkies on the ham frequencies, on the amateur radio frequencies.
I'm just saying that, and I almost don't like saying this, putting it out there, because I think criminals learn from each other. But are you saying that from a technological perspective, it was smarter to possibly use walkie-talkies than to use cell phones?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would how many people would know that? Like, how would you know that? Would you have to talk to an expert? Is it a secret?
No, I mean, you can just look at previous cases.
Mm-hmm.
Just following the news, not to bring your phone in somewhere. As to what degree, and I'll explain everything now. What I mean about leaving a digital trace is that as soon as you leave your phone, your phone is telling a story.
Oh yeah,
it's picking off of the servers, okay, all of the antennas, and the reason why it's doing that is because it needs to stay on. It needs to stay connected because you want to receive calls, you want to receive text, you want to receive phone. Everything.
Most of the time.
Okay. So as you're walking, it's connecting to all these servers and bouncing off each other. So when I say matching from the 11th to the 24th to the night of the abduction, is that you would find the same data points, the same information from the same phone, the same information being sent to those antennas. So the FBI has very capable tools of right away brushing out what's relevant or not and what matches. So you could have easily have, let's say if they brought it every time, then you would see the same. Oh, okay, look, this phone is 2 times at 3 a.m. And very often when it comes to this data, it's not so much as to what's there, it's what's out of norm there. So basically the FBI can actually get a very good sense as to what activity there should be at 3 a.m. within a certain proximity, seeing all the data points bouncing off each other.
Interesting.
They can those digital forensic guys can actually have a sense of, okay, you know what, that doesn't belong there.
Right.
And then they dig deeper into it, and then it brings cause to say, okay, let's see if it came up anywhere else within this span. And that's why the case frustrates me, because today you can't even leave your house without getting, digitally, because like we're video cameraed everywhere. We're being digitally tracked everywhere.
Oh,
now the other thing about sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. The other thing about cell phone is not just the actual antennas, okay, and I mean hitting off of all of the servers everywhere. It's also that you have what's called fog data, and what fog data means, it's all the other data. It's you go to McDonald's, okay, and you have the McDonald's app. You go to Starbucks. You have the Starbucks app. You're leaving a story.
I wouldn't.
You-
Have, I wouldn't have those things.
You're using
Flat apps.
a
Music
map
app.
navigator. It's
Yeah.
telling a story.
Mhm.
Okay. But where there's even more fog data is this. It's when you're driving by a McDonald's or something. All the other apps interact to it inside your phone. And that's why you get these messages pop up and these alerts. Or you go on social media the next day and you're getting all these, or even 5 minutes from them. It's because your phone is telling other companies, okay, Dr. Brucato just walked across a Starbucks. Josh just came out of the Tim Hortons in Canada. So it tells a story like that. And then at the same this is called fog data.
Well,
So they're definitely looking.
To quote Shaggy, it wasn't me.
Yeah. And so
No shot.
they could actually try and find the fog data.
I am not getting coffee from any place where I have to learn a language to order it.
Dr. Gary coming out of the
like,
Spencer's buying a fart machine.
Yeah, I'd be like, give me a coffee. What do you want? Venti. I'd be like, give me a black like this now. And then if I don't get it, I'm out. Like, I would rather get from a street vendor.
Really?
Do
Gross.
you like coffee from Starbucks?
Who, me?
Well, I'm asking Jason.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I prefer the.
You're Italian, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, get it. There's no
Exactly.
shot.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I have the old Napolitan, the one where you turn upside down.
You have the actual, the metal, the cafeteria.
Yeah.
You actually use
Yeah,
that.
where you put the hot water in and then you turn it, and then.
Of course, I grew up
Yeah.
with that. That's
There
like
you go.
flashbacks. Of course. Anyway, but in all seriousness, you know what's interesting as I'm listening to you is that I really think this case has the implication that Nest and Ring cameras and things could pretty easily be bypassed by a person with a little technological knowledge. I mean, it's sort of bothering me that they don't seem to be that protective.
It's become there was a period when you saw a lot of news articles, and there was news segments in the news that how the biggest thing that burglars were doing were they were purchasing jammers, and so what this comes down to is being aware, okay, being vigilant, technically, not just the guy across the street something looks funny there, okay. The world is changing, things are technically adapting, so then it's the same thing about the 30 years ago, you locked your front door because you don't want someone to come in. But today, you have more than just the front door. There's locks on all these gadgets that we need to lock. We need security on them.
That's true. But as Chris pointed out astutely on the interview room, it is strange that the front of the house looks like a fortress, with this portcullis, practically, like one of those castle gates.
Yeah.
In front of the house, and then you leave the back door open sometimes. It's odd. Cameras in the front, but you leave the back door unlocked. It's strange.
Well, everything about her camera system and the way that it was being used makes no sense. And it's sort of a, excuse my language, a half-ass attempt at security. And that's sort of what you get when an 84-year-old, or is that how old she was, 84, living by herself, unless somebody, look, my grandma wouldn't know how to set up a Ring doorbell camera, nor would she know anything about a subscription. That's why it matters to when you're, I'm not blaming anybody, so nobody take it this way, but that's something that children should set up for their elderly parents and check on it and make sure it's in line and be able to monitor it, like the Life 360 apps and all that kind of stuff now. Yeah. All those things are very, very important. And, I even have it to where I told my kids and my sister, and basically everybody who's really important to me, is that leave your read receipts on, because I've seen cases, where it, something is really wrong when you go a day or so with messaging somebody and they haven't read your message.
Yep.
And I've seen it where, people have read receipts on and they say, well, I text the person at trials. I've seen this, and they said, and it just said delivered and never read. And that has never happened before. Well, it turns out that person was, abducted and killed or something, something along those lines.
Absolutely.
So, there's a lot of those little nuances and things.
And that's what I mean about being vigilant, is that, to pay attention to these things. Now, I saw on one of the YouTubers, he had a screenshot of the of one of the social media, like the Tucson groups on Facebook, that actually asked which one is better, because she wanted, it was Nancy Guthrie who posted it, asking about Nest or Ring cameras for animals and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it wasn't security.
Gotcha.
Okay, so
thing to know.
Yeah, and it was an actual. Someone had took a screenshot and had sent it to one of the YouTubers, and I happened to catch it. So it was, it was about animals and so forth. So, but again, one of my biggest purposes for coming on too is not just to give the perspective, but I want to help people stay safe and to give, very good advice. It's also a very important part of my career where I have to be on top of things. I'll give you a little example just today. Okay, I'm on the phone. I'm on a big conference call with the cybersecurity of Canada, the Canadian government. Okay, at the same time, I am awaiting a refund from my own internet provider. Okay, they do send me a text and an email about it when that happens. So while I'm on the line on the conference call with like top guys that are talking about the huge risk of the type of scam I'm about to talk about, I have a real awaiting payment coming from my own provider, and I get a fake email dressed up as a text message in an email to fool me, to say, here's your refund.
Oh.
Now, had that been a vulnerable person, an older person who doesn't know, that you could have easily clicked on it, and some people don't even know the difference between email and text.
Sure.
So you bring up a good point before when you talk about kids and everything. Communication is key. Is that whenever you know of a scam, you hear of something, tell the older people around you, tell your loved ones, and especially the older ones that live alone, and never think that, oh, that's never going to happen to us. Let's say the romance scams or the fake calls about a kidnapping or the IRS, that only happens to other people. It doesn't. It could happen to anyone. My own family gets those calls, and I say to myself, thank God I'm around, or else, it's scary. I've heard nightmare stories of what could happen. So communication is key, and even in an organization, we could do all the training that we want, but the number one thing I've learned, even at a company, is that it's communication. It's, you get an email, you're not sure who it's from, or if it's really from that person, pick up the phone and ask them. We're at the point now that at any payroll change, whether it be a date or a different bank account, it is on cam only, and you have to actually know the person, and you actually have to pick up the phone and speak with them, because now we're getting into AI and things get a little complex with that, but anything's possible. I'm not even leaving voicemails anymore.
Why?
Because I don't want my voice recorded.
Oh.
And then being turned into AI.
Oh, so that Right.
I'll text the person instead. Or like, I'm thinking of unnecessarily. Like, if it's not necessary, don't. Then it's
Well, I knew a person. I'm not going to say who, but I knew a person who told me the following story. He said that he received a phone call from what he thought was his mother in a frantic voice telling him that he needed to take money out of his bank account and race to the bank and deposit it into the following bank account, which was supposedly her own because of an emergency she had gotten herself into. And apparently what happened was she answered the phone one day and AI was used to take her basically just going, hello, hello, and mimic her voice and turn it into this sham emergency call. And then somehow called back. Another member of the family picked it up and, and thought that it was real. And, I remember when that happened, I thought to myself, my God, and the person got gypped out of the money and bank couldn't do anything to give it back. And that was the end of it. And somewhere, someplace, somebody got free money.
Yeah.
And, so, I mean, the things, I mean, you think with this ingenuity, they would channel it toward getting a job,
This
but
is,
stuff
yeah.
they come up with is just scary. But I think you're right about copying voices.
Yeah, it's getting dangerous to the point that you just, don't do things unnecessarily.
Really? The woman in the audience says that happened to her mother.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
$7,000.
God. Hey, let me read this question real quick. And Samantha, thank you so much. And it's good to see you, by the way. Quick question: if Nancy had a subscription set up, would she get alerts on her phone of the suspicious activity on the night of January 11th and January 24th? I have Ring camera and I get pinged for everything.
Yeah, and that's a very good point, Samantha, because not just the actual camera in the front, but the cameras in the back. I have a suspicion that there were no alerts set up inside. If those cameras were there for the dog, when her dog was alive, you want to check up on your pet while you're out, then you wouldn't have motion set on because then she'll be bombarded with alerts.
And
so,
yeah, I agree with that. You don't want to. It's almost like it would just become sort of a nuisance if every time like a bird flew by or something. But yeah, I think that anything. I think there's settings like proximity settings too, aren't there?
There's all kinds of things now. Today they've really increased the ball game on this, that you're really able to customize it now, and the alerts are getting very specific. So to answer Teresa, Samantha's question, Nancy Guthrie did not have a subscription, but even without a subscription, she can get alerts. She can see still images for up to 3 hours.
Got it.
So,
and Eric here says, and this is kind of what I've been thinking as well. Eric says, do we all agree there's a significant amount of camera footage LE has that they're not releasing? I don't know if it's significant.
I don't think so.
I think do you think that they have any more, or is that it?
Well, they did hint that they had more, but they're saying it's not relevant. It might not be relevant now.
They talked about the thumbnails. They had thumbnail.
Yeah.
But there were cameras inside as well, correct?
Yes, but cameras inside are most likely not on the ceiling. I mean, just getting the idea of kind of creating a technical profile of Nancy here. Okay. Where things were not, too complex or sophisticated. If you don't have a subscription of your cameras, then I don't think you're gonna have someone with a ladder go to the corner of, let's say, your living room wall or something, and like tie it to the corner rather than it just being on the counter. So those are very easily, you could enter the house without even making the alert go off. So there's ways around that. And that's, so there's a few points I want to give everyone here is that when you get these services, okay, first of all, change the passwords on them. Okay, never keep any of the default passwords and so forth. And the same thing with your Wi-Fi. Before, when I said don't do things unnecessarily, everyone who comes into your home, they're not entitled to use your Wi-Fi. It's not a have to. It's not a must. It's not like going to the bathroom.
Right.
Okay, like we're giving away these things too easily. You know, opening up your Wi-Fi, you know, is like opening up your wallet and saying, here, take whatever you want, you know, go through it, but please leave everything important. Don't do anything funny. You'd rather give someone an empty wallet to go through. So that's why you set up what's called a guest Wi-Fi in the house. It's isolated. You have access to the internet, but you can't see anything else. So, and this is what I mean about the scoping and a neighbor of a neighbor or construction guys or whatever. And then there's even talk about maybe there was a rental home that was nearby that was visited by these people, and then they left after they were done. Now, if that's the case, but before I had mentioned that I can turn my car into an office, which I have, okay, you can make a little office there and like, you know, have gadgets there that you would normally you know, find out, you know, there's network gadgets to find out what frequencies are jumping around. You could easily find out, oh yeah, the neighbor has a Ring camera. There's ways of doing this. But now, if they were actually in one of those homes across the street, you got other things at play there. Because apparently there was a home that there was people that were renting out and then now they're gone, okay? Maybe we're making too much of it, but I know they were talking about a Nancy Grace. Now, had that been the case there, that could have been like a little, you know, like a little station headquarters there of surveillance the area. It's not just scoping it out. You could have satellites in there that are not that complex, you know, picking up, you know, with the ranges and giving a kind of like a map of what devices are connecting in the area and to what Wi-Fi. And the other thing that they could have been doing was hidden cameras. If you're renting a place or even driving by, you know, these cameras now could be the size of a even smaller than a bottle cap. Okay, there's some really small ones. They could have put cameras in those areas, and all it takes is a certain proximity, or in case it was a cloud-based one. So there's all kinds of things that they could have done. So I would tell everyone to you want to, and Doctor, this goes back to what you were saying before, that it has become scary in terms of jammers. It is a reality. If someone wants to rob a house, they can just go out, get a jammer, and this is what they're doing, is that they amplify it up when they get to the house, and then everything else, then the Wi-Fi is out, and you can't even make a phone call because we don't have landlines anymore. You know, we all have mobile devices. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that that your modem is up to date. Okay, so meaning you want to get on the phone, call your internet provider, and ask them, I want to make sure my firmware is up to date. You want to do that on a regular basis, set reminders every few months, 6 months, or a yearly thing to make sure it's up to date. I would, you know, ideally every 3 months or so, because these are not just minor updates. These are security updates. We're always, you know, sometimes the thieves are just a step ahead, and we're catching up. Okay, we got to patch this up. We got to patch that up, you know, because it's not always guaranteed that something is going to work. And that's why, like, deauthentication is more rare today, because it only works off certain frequencies. Meaning that the older your internet, the more likely you're working off a frequency that won't be using a frequency, and you can do a deauthentication. But ways around this is have, you know, if you know technical people, okay, ask them, take advantage of them. Like, I love it when everyone around me asks questions, because it tells me that they're being aware because awareness is very important. And it's there's software that you can buy that monitors your network, everything that you're connected to, and you can set alerts up in there. And mind you, it doesn't take someone like me to do this. I know it's harder for some to know how, but it's not like like making code or something. It's a GUI interface. It's an interface that's made for everyday people to use. And what you're able to do is you're able to tell there's various of them out there. You're able to say, okay, this Ring camera goes offline. Tell me, alert me, send me a text. Send me an alert if it goes offline. And it can pick up on any type of suspicious activity. That's your best bet against jammers and the authentication.
So we don't, I say we, but I don't think that it was a jammer. I think it's a walkie-talkie.
Yeah, for sure that's a walkie-talkie there. Because it's not a jammer because, first of all, like I said, the images are very clear that the FBI took. Okay, they're crisp. There's no lagging. We have 41 minutes in the house from the pacemaker going offline after 41 minutes. And that's what I wanted to address before, is that there was comments that the timeline of 41 minutes is off because a pacemaker is syncing to the phone. There's a difference here. Your pacemaker is doing its thing on the heart, recording data. Then it transmits this information via Bluetooth to the cell phone. Now, you could alter how many times that sync takes place between the pacemaker and the mobile device app. People are confusing that with Bluetooth being disconnected. It's not going to tell you 3 hours later that Bluetooth is disconnected because it did a sync. It's live. It's either it's connected or it's not. So it may have only synced the data 2 hours later, but that's only the data of the pacemaker and the activity that it's doing for the heart, not the actual connectivity of the Bluetooth. It's the alert of Bluetooth or the timestamp of the Bluetooth or the app indicating, the pacemaker app indicating that phone disconnected via Bluetooth. If it says that, it means that Bluetooth actually disconnected at that point. Therefore, that gives you 41 minutes in the house.
And also, the reason the walkie-talkies would be important is because any sort of even cell phone data, they would be able to tell what cell phones were in the area pinging.
Oh, yeah.
And it's an isolated area. It's an odd time of night. There's not going to be a lot of activity. It would almost be like shooting fish in a barrel to find out who was there.
Yeah, it's very, very easy.
Yeah,
the FBI,
they're almost a certainty.
By now, especially this way in the case, they have a map, okay, that has everything that's normal or to the norm. And then what they do is they just compare it to, now I'm giving an example here. Now we want to look on January 12th, let's say. They have that map there, and then they're just going to, it's as if you put two maps on top of each other, and where you don't have the same overlapping going and you see one little thing off on the side, then you're going to go and address that. So that's why I'm disappointed that there's not much of a digital trail on the night of the abduction, but I think there's probably things being put together. It's more of a puzzle when you're trying to figure out who was possibly there when you don't know who, when you don't have that data on the night of. So I still would not lose hope on that side, because as you're going along, then and if it's over a span of several days, you got millions of these data points to go through. So they could still be, or they could have a hunch and they just don't have anything else to go on it. They're waiting for the genetic genealogy.
Yeah.
Right. That's an interesting point.
You know, so does anyone find it on Nancy?
Yeah, does anybody find out that Nancy didn't have security system in addition to Nest cams already set up? Seemed very trusting of that neighborhood. Well, that Samantha, that seems like what a lot of the neighbors have said.
Yeah.
It's a very isolated part. I mean, it's the Catalina foothills. I mean, there's not a lot of traffic through there. It's just neighborhood people, and which once again makes you an extremely vulnerable target, and that you should never let your guard down. You should never, sleep with your doors open, no matter how nice the neighborhood, because people target those neighborhoods. Eventually everybody, every neighborhood, gets targeted. But yeah, she's very trusting of the neighborhood. She's lived there since what they said, the 70s. And I don't know, but I would imagine that they probably don't have very many issues around there.
Exactly.
It's in the middle of nowhere, sort of.
Today, unfortunately, you have to be more vigilant. And Samantha makes a great point with that, because she was very trusting. It seems like the norm in that neighborhood as well.
Yes, it does.
The thing is that it doesn't seem that these cameras were there necessarily for security. They're most likely there to see who's at the front door when the doorbell rings. I don't need to get up to go get it for nonsense. I want to see what the dog is up to when I'm not home. I want to see what animals, if I guess she was having animals that were digging at some point, and she wanted to see which ones, which even at that, it doesn't make too much sense, because that footage would have been gone. Let's say if it happens, 3 hours into her going to bed, or maybe it's during the day or something, or maybe she was just hoping on those alerts, So anyone who has these cameras, get the cloud, get to know it, know what it offers, get to know the tools,
and have somebody in your family be able to access it remotely as well.
Exactly.
Jason, this right here, I think you'll enjoy this comment. A comment Jason made had me make sure my son has remote access to my cameras. It was simple to set up. I mean, that is a great idea, Rachel. Very, very smart, and God bless your son for being a part of that. It's important. It really is important. Like the Life 360 things that people are using now. We live in a digital world, and I don't know if she had a subscription, that would have changed much here or not. I mean, we have a full body video of this guy.
How much more can you get?
I know, staring directly into the camera, and it was like they were ready for cameras. Whoever this is ready for a camera. I mean, it's
this case is so weird that Dr. Brucato has asked me 2-3 times, within the past month, about the sophistication of the person at the door, and like the planners, let's say the chef and everything. Right. And it's like my answer has kind of changed, like almost each time to a certain degree, because there is some planning, then at the same time there's some weird stuff, that doesn't match up. So I don't think that they were consulting with a
genius.
Yeah, a genius. I think they were doing, asking the right questions into Google and looking at the right videos, let's say.
You think they were Googling this information?
Yeah, I mean, how not to get caught in an area with your cell phone, and also that
stupid to Google, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Well, they would have to find the person first.
Yeah, that's
and then look at their browser history. I would suppose.
Exactly. Yeah.
Kind of like with Casey
incriminating if you do get caught.
Yeah, absolutely, it is, and that's well. I mean, yeah,
Don't
it's
you
kind
have
of
any cases like that, Josh, where like somebody is
yeah. Casey
accused of murder,
Anthony
the
looked up
search
how to make
history is like,
chloroform.
yeah, it's ridiculous. The search history will be like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
how to
How to poison someone, or
Dr.
lime.
Gary, I see
Yeah.
it on Dateline every night.
Oh yeah, wow.
I mean,
Yeah,
every single night.
yeah.
It's like, and then this person was like, "How do you fit a 6'2" body into a Ford Focus trunk?"
Yeah,
and you're like, "Oh, the body was 6'2", and it was a Ford Focus that they put him in." It's just and they think that those things are so easy to snatch for investigators now, man. It's almost like cell phones were invented to track humans, because that's exactly what they do. I mean, that they're the first thing, whenever you watch any sort of crime show or hear any sort of investigation going on, was there a cell phone recovered from the scene? And they're like, we're going to go through their cell phone because everything is in there. Your digital wallet, address and last contacts, whoever you text the most. And that's why when kids, and I always say this, when children go missing, little kids, that's why it's so hard to find them, because they have almost no digital footprint whatsoever. They don't have a car. They don't have car insurance. They don't have credit cards. They don't even have best friends that they communicate with.
Exactly.
There's nobody to talk to except the family. And a lot of the times it's the family who is involved in it. And so, like in the case of Summer Wells, digitally, besides a few TikToks here and there, basically didn't exist. There's some pictures of her that were taken, but she didn't have her own digital footprint. Now Nancy does and did. It may not be a huge digital footprint, but she does have one. And it's the same thing with Koberger. He had a digital footprint that they were able to piece together, and then when he was stargazing and things like that. And so the more sort of data that you can put out there about yourself, that people can track, especially within your family. Yeah, Alex Murdaugh. The entire reason that guy was caught was because of a Snapchat sent by his son to a friend, and they go, "Whose voice was that?" And he goes, "Well, that was Alex's voice." "How do you know that?" And he goes, "Because I've known him since I was 5. And then they go, "So you were at the kennels?" And then they show, where his cell phone. So it's a whole thing, man. I'm telling you, like,
it is.
You need to have a digital footprint in a digital world. And it's really unfortunate. That's, like I said, that's why children cases are so difficult. Even teenagers, when teenagers go missing, they have cell phones. They have people that they can talk to. And so,
like the things of who they talked to and what they did the night before, there's, and back to the sophistication that Dr. Brucato often asks me about, is that they knew not to bring those cell phones there, because even if you go in airplane mode, okay, that's never 100%. There's still some, technically you're supposed to, it still bounces off at least one server somewhere or frequency, so that it can at least tell you in a few hours where the last location was. Okay, to have your phone with you, to make sure that it's not working, you need a special type of bag. There's bags that you buy that actually cut the actual transmission of the data with the phone off. Because your phone off, just like that, there's still some minor activity going on, and it's possible to still be traced. So they knew well enough not to bring it there at all, to keep it away from the scene. And how? You listen to any crime story, it's the first thing you learn now.
Yeah, but on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being not at all, 10 being completely, how sophisticated do you think this operation is from a technical perspective?
As time goes on, to me, it's like, how many times you're going to go there and scope the place to decide what door you're going to go in and stuff. So I think there was something technical going on there, trying to pick up on.
So like a little more than 5 out of 10.
I would say about 5 to. I'm heading towards 6 because they definitely could. You could easily kind of get an idea as to what devices are somewhere, because I mean they. But then yet, okay, if they were really sophisticated, like let's say myself, okay, I knew before this case that without a subscription, Nest is still recording data and sending it to a cloud, and Ring is not doing that. I knew that off the bat. Now, if you have nothing to hide, you don't care, and you're talking so much about digital footprint. I couldn't care less. I have nothing to hide.
Sure.
So you can. It's an open book, okay. But there's some people that still want to remain private, even when they don't have something to hide. Okay. So if you're worried about, I don't want some Nest guy who could actually just look at my camera at any time he wants, then you can simply buy cameras that are doing the recording in house. It's in your home. It doesn't rely on the internet.
Right. You put it on an SD card or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
And then have a backup of that information.
I wanted to read this really quick. It came in earlier, and thank you for that donation. But this really makes a lot of sense too. I understand it. It was 6 years ago today that I lost my mother unexpectedly to COVID. The world shut down, and we didn't say goodbye. It was 3.5 months before we could have her memorial. Grief interrupted. No family should have to experience loss without a body. When Savannah was talking about we can handle anything, but we just cannot handle not knowing. That is so true, because once you can at least know, you can start to process and move on. Right now, the only thing that they can process is that their mother is gone, with no answers. There's nothing to process. They're on a standstill. So, Laura, I would say, it's a terrible thing. I've heard a lot of stories like that during COVID, where people were dying alone in hospitals on FaceTime and things like that. And what a terrible time. Allegedly, Nancy posted often on the neighborhood app. I am on that neighborhood app, by the way. It's a great app.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I wonder if the perp could have gathered information about her from there. Just trying to think of all the possibilities.
Again, Samantha brings up an amazing point I was just about to mention, okay, is that be very cautious as to what you're putting online, okay? The following other influencers, okay, is one thing. Now the Instagram and the TikToks, okay, where there's really less of you're not giving so much of your life story there, okay? You're watching videos, you're following people, you're seeing what's trendy or not, okay? But on Facebook, where you're telling a story, saying, where can I get, it's one thing if you're asking, where can I get a good cup of coffee? And then asking, what kind of camera? I don't really need a subscription. There's two different things. And I'll give you a story here. I have relatives in Missouri, okay? And no matter where I'm going to travel, okay, and this is over 10 years ago that from the first time that I had gone, and I always join the local Facebook groups, as to to find out what's going on in the neighborhood, to find out what coffee, what restaurant I should go to. And here we are, fast forward 10 years later.
Josh, we're only children.
My cousin posted something that she was not ready for the rest of the family to know about, and it was in that group. It wasn't telling them. It was asking a question about it. So I was the first one, because you would never think that someone, the people in Montreal would have their local groups, because you just can't assume things online. I was a member of the group because I went to go visit them, and you can't just assume that I'm not on there. So you have to be very careful what you're posting on these things.
I have to ask you a question. There are Italians in Missouri? No, I'm serious. You know, like
No,
one?
it's a one-off. It's because my uncle married an American.
I don't think it's a one. Missouri's a pretty big state.
Yeah, but very.
I never heard of Italians in Missouri. I've
No.
never heard of that. That's just funny to me.
No, it is. It is. Yeah.
You know, looking around, going, "What the heck is that?" No,
Yeah.
seriously, is there a population? Like, is there
No.
a Italy or
No,
something?
there's no community of Italians. No.
So just a small.
It's just because my aunt's family came from there. They were born there and everything. So after they had met, they had gone back to Missouri.
Yeah. There are just some
What
states
are you talking about?
a bunch of Italians, you know.
What are you talking about? St. Louis is there.
Yeah, but that's okay. Well, with
There's
this
a
place,
population in St. Louis. It's not San Luigi.
So I just typed in, "Are there Italians in Missouri?"
okay. Yeah, but you see, the thing is that you know what? I think I'm being too close-minded. I'm thinking too much of where they live. It's
200,000 people of Italian.
farmland. So
How many are there?
200,000
Wow.
of Italian descent.
Really?
Yeah, because Kansas City as well. They're huge cities, dude.
Because I'm picturing my family and saying to them, "We could live anywhere in the country."
Yeah.
No. And I'm picturing the reaction if I said we're going to go to Missouri.
Yeah, right. No, I get it.
You know, the reaction they would have, because what is there to do?
Well, I would.
Bob's
If
putting food
Actually, I
here.
love that state. It's a beautiful state.
you would have said
Yeah, no,
Arkansas,
it is very nice.
if you would have said Arkansas, I would have went, well, that makes a
Okay,
little.
that's definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, although I'm not sure, but I heard Vinnie Politan, whose name I think probably historically was probably Napolitano. I had to guess because it's Politan. You know, I think it's short for Neopop. But anyway,
Yeah.
But anyway, so and he looks Italian. He's Italian, right? Vinny is Italian, right?
Yes.
He looks it to me. But anyway,
Oh.
but Vinny, he was telling a story about how he went to one of these states. I think it was Alabama or Arkansas. I can't remember which one. And there were so many people there in the witness protection program that they had this fantastic Italian food in the middle of this state. And it's just hysterical to me. You know, and he said, we had this amazing pizza, this amazing pasta. And it was, probably.
Don't forget, Joe Bonanno lived in Tucson.
Yeah, that I'm not surprised about Arizona. But Arizona doesn't surprise me. But Arkansas would surprise me.
Yeah. If you go back there, I think it was Bob's.
Yeah,
made a great comment about children and pictures. It's totally unnecessary.
I agree with that 100%.
It is like
that's true. I
should not be able to tell you like what my neighbors' kids are, doing throughout the day. It's none of my business, and it should not be out there. You send it amongst family over the phone, and that's it. It's not a story to be told.
And I'll give you a tip related to that, which I'm thinking of including in a long list of tips in the book I'm doing. A lot of people innocently post pictures of their children shirtless or in diapers and things like that. And the AI for social media will actually flag it. Not because they think you're doing something perverted, but because perverts will use it.
Yes.
They will actually ding you, flag you, make you take it off. And you'll be like, oh my God, did I post something inappropriate? No, but if you look it up, it's because they're worried that there are creeps that screen cap these images and use them. Isn't that horrifying?
And it's disgusting.
But
and it's going on. And and this is not about, fear mongering and making people scared. It's really a reality. It's going on, and when it comes to these things, you can never think, oh, that never happens to us. It's happening everywhere to everyone.
It's horrifying.
It is very horrifying.
But I think that's a good tip.
Dr. Gary, you'll get a kick out of this. When I was really into prank calling for a long time. And one of my favorite things to do on prank calls was to call people on Craigslist and tell them that their item had been flagged as a scam.
Oh,
and that I had flagged it as a scam, and even though I never did, and they would just, I go, yeah, it's coming down. I flagged it as a scam. There's no way that you're selling a Sega Genesis for $47. I go, what is, and then they would like freak out, like, why would you do that? And I used to do that. So I would do that to like 10 people a day.
I loved getting prank phone calls because I would tell that it was a prank and then answer funny, play along with it. The best thing to do is to do that voice. I used to imitate the voice of Adam Sandler when he would do that Whitey voice. Remember the character Whitey?
Yeah.
Somebody would call and be like, "Hey, I'm calling from the bank. And I'd be like, "Yeah, how you doing there, pal? What's up?" You do like that high pitched squeak voice. Oh my God, it was so much fun. But the thing is, or actually, somebody taught me to put a whistle next to the phone. And if you get a prank, you talk a few minutes and then blow the whistle really hard, and it blasts through the speaker and hurts. But apparently, a whistle is the best thing to do. It just freaks them out. Yeah. What do
Doctor, you just reminded me about something. You had asked.
You gotta watch 12 Crazy Nights.
Great movie.
I love that.
You had asked me about
wig stealing.
The emails and how sophisticated it was. Like, why did they find Derek Kalia and not the other two if they were fake?
Oh, yes. Okay? That's an interesting question.
Now, because you're going from a guy who decided to pick up, a phone, okay, and downloaded what's called a burner app. It's basically it's just an app that has numbers, limit numbers, and that you pay for, and you make phone calls from it.
They used to sort of torment me, stalk me, whatever word you want to use. That used to call endlessly using a burner phone.
Yeah,
funny voices, but it was the same person.
Yeah.
Never ended. Endless numbers that my cell phone couldn't recognize. Being the same person. Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, it is. So that's easier to find versus the other two. Now, the fact that the FBI could not find them tells me something right away, that these people were it was a scam.
Yeah,
because you're at the same level as the scammers that call to tell you that you've won the lotto in Nigeria. Or that you're
that's a great one.
Or romance scams and all that, because those emails, okay, when you send an email, and again, behind the email there's a story there. Okay, Jason sent you an email, it's from Montreal. Oh, he was using oh no, wait a minute, it's not from Montreal, he was using a VPN that said it's Boston, let's say. Okay. But these are things that are easily found. But what they're doing with these overseas ones and the ones about, they're the romance scams, or they're sending emails, or they're calling saying you owe the IRS money and so forth. These are getting the calls, and they're because they're using voice over IP, meaning that they're using the voice communication, the telephone that requires Wi-Fi, and the emails that they're sending, they are basically on top of layers of each other of VPNs. And VPNs are what you call virtual private networks, and you're just disguising your area. Now, in reality, why does someone use a VPN today? Is to watch Netflix and Prime outside of your country. To have for us Canadians to have the good stuff that the Americans get on the Netflix and Prime. Okay. How much do they actually keep you safe from malicious things? No, that's more like what a firewall does. Is to protect your from intrusion, not a VPN. Is it a good idea? Can it hurt? No. It is a little layer of protection. But when you're talking about these guys overseas and this type of sophistication, that's why these investigations take years for the FBI or the RCMP over here to find these types of call centers and everything in India, because they're able to make it look like they're actually in another country completely, by having several layers of different complex internet connections that really fool law enforcement.
Wow. Yeah. No, it's a great
So
point.
those guys that are doing that stuff, they do their homework. They have some very complex. They're basically building their own little mini towers that bounce off and make it look like it's another country, and that's why it takes years and years to find them.
I have to be honest that listening to you, it does give you chills. I mean, because it really makes you realize that privacy is dead. I mean,
Yeah.
as I'm listening to you, you really get the sense that like there is no way. And I'm a person that really like, if I could, I would go like out and live in the woods and be like away from everything. I like privacy. I'm like Luddite, you know. I want to live like Thoreau, you know, on the pond. And the thing is, it bothers me to think that that's no longer plausible. It just does. It can't be.
Well, it is if you do it.
Disturbing.
If you have digital devices, yes, it's.
Horrifying. It makes me want to be a Mennonite or something.
But now, at the same time, though, is that well, you should go with Josh to a monastery, to the monks.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught my After Dark the other day, but I've been considering joining a monastery.
I don't blame you. I mean,
Like I think that the one thing that would stop me from becoming a monk is the incessant mopping.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was. Yeah.
They mop a lot.
I mean, look. I mean, the idea which comes from Saint Benedict is that working in a structured way is a kind of prayer, and that he used to say, that something like trying to remember what it was in Latin. Lavorare est orare.
Yeah.
To work is to pray.
Yeah.
Which in Italian is similar, right?
That's
Orare.
you ever see that at St. Joseph's Oratory? They have a beautiful sign of St. Joseph the Worker. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's a beautiful construct. But Josh, are you looking to escape, or have you had a spiritual conversion that makes you want to go live the life of a monk? I think it's beautiful. I don't think it's funny at all. Someone said, "Don't make it fun." I wanted to be a priest. I went to school for years to be a priest. I think it's beautiful.
I remember you mentioning that. Yeah.
I was very interested in the the discipline of a monk, but I'm serious. The mopping was
Catholic.
Huh?
But you're not Catholic.
Not yet.
I mean, if you're going to be a Christian, I mean, there are other kinds of monks. I mean, you could become maybe a Buddhist monk.
Here the monks make cheese.
Really?
Oh yeah. There are some that do that.
Yeah, it's called Oka. It's about an hour from where I am, and pardon me?
Yeah, those are Catholic monks that make the cheese.
Yeah. And I had relatives that would go to the retreat and stay there for a weekend, and it was complete silence, and you're in solitude. Yeah. And that's what you have to do to be off the grid. You can't have any of these devices, but now you also have to keep in mind that devices are always listening. So even if you don't have one, your neighbor has one. And that's why the laws need to start kicking in terms of let's say Chat GPT and stuff. Okay, for AI, is that they should have. I know we had a murder here, a school shooting about last month. And the person had written things in Chat GPT, and so we need these things to be alerted immediately, and law enforcement to be informed right away. That's why we need strict laws on AI and so forth.
Yeah,
that's why you need a body of governance. You need the rules and regulation.
Yeah, fascinating. Yeah. Well, I love since you mentioned the monks up there, I love the oratory of St. Joseph. I told you that it's very, very beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
There you go. Oh my God, I can't. But I'm not even commenting on this. But what was that, Josh?
That's me.
Why are you dressed like that?
Because I'm that would be me as a monk.
Josh, that looks like Mr. Clean crossed with Buffalo Bill.
Okay, but I'm just saying I was just testing the waters.
Oh my God. Okay, and why are you so tiny there? It looks now there's a little Yoda mixed in there. I'm terrified by that image. No, but back to the oratory because I need an exorcism from that. But you know, it's interesting. I love the stories of the saints and so forth, and you know they have the heart of Benedict of a Blessed Andre there, which is incorrupt that somebody stole once and everything.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
I knew a woman who was a librarian at a school I went to, whose sister was cured by Blessed Andre. He told her to get out of the wheelchair, and she did.
Wow.
Got up and walked. And you know they've got all those wheelchairs and canes and things because of all the people he healed. But my favorite thing is in the stories of the saints. I love when a modern technology. This is up your alley. I like to tie things together like this. A modern technology comes out and they need to find a patron for it. They have to find a way to tie an old saint from hundreds of years ago to a contemporary technology. One of my favorite examples of that is there was a saint who incidentally is heavily revered by the Benedictines called Frances of Rome. And she used to have what she believed was a guardian angel that followed her everywhere that had superimposed over its face a star-shaped light that glue in the dark. In paintings of Frances of Rome, she's always got this childlike person with her with a face looks like a starfish exploding. And as a consequence, they made her the patron saint of motorists because of the headlight, because she could see in the dark.
My God, wow.
Little angel with the light shooting out of its face. And I just think stories like that are so cool. But they, you know, or the way that St. Joseph Cupertino, who could fly, you know, would levitate, supposedly they made him the patron of people flying airplanes. Oh yeah, well that's another story. But but I just think things like that are fascinating, and the way that we've adapted, you know, these things. Josh, if you really want to be a monk, I'd support you. Was that really you with the shaved head and everything? And you used AI to make that?
It's an AI photo.
Yeah, it was terrifying. I was really put it back up. Yeah, I can't deal with that. And what are those shoes?
I don't know. I didn't do that.
Wait, let me see the shoe.
They're like Birkenstocks.
House flipper. I have an uncle that has like 14 pairs of those shoes.
Yeah.
Jason, you have shoes like that, don't you?
Yeah.
Come on. I got one of those. No, but let me see the next one.
Hold on.
Look how his fingers are too long for the rest of his body. I can't deal with it. Where did they get that picture of your face shaved?
And you just say make me a monk with no facial hair.
He gives them their picture, and then it in the back end it's able to.
But like that's not the size of my head, though.
Yeah, you know
that is a humongous dome piece.
And people have asked me, is how far away are we from like taking the mask off the people at the perp at the door? That we're not anywhere near that. I mean, however, you can get facial recognition of the eyes.
But Josh, put that. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Josh, put that picture back up. I got to see that again. Dear Lord,
which one?
That picture of the face. Yeah, I can't. It looks like, first of all, why is the face so oblong? It looks like there were like obstetric complications or something, and the head is just like pulled the wrong way or something.
I don't know.
Your head.
It's what Grok did. I didn't do it.
It's terrifying. And also, are you wearing earrings?
No, those are my AirPods.
A monk with AirPods? Ask Jason if that's allowed.
I don't think it is. I like this one, but I just the mopping. Honestly like the over cleaning is really a deal breaker for me.
I can't.
Erica is saying that
the last airbender. I can't deal with this.
No, but what I was saying
is the monk making the prank phone calls. It's funny.
But that's what I was saying was that I was just talking about like how disciplined they are and stuff like that, because I truly do admire their lifestyle. I swear to God, I do. I know those pictures are funny and stuff, and picturing me being a monk, I couldn't be quiet for very long. I mean, I just wouldn't be very good at that. But I mean, you chant? Yeah, well, but they have an insane discipline, that I think is very admirable, I guess.
Yeah.
I definitely get it. Okay, there are even monks, Carthusians, and people. There are monks in Catholicism that live in a wall. That you to communicate with them, it's like visiting Hannibal Lecter. You got to put something in the drawer and push it through.
Yeah,
And then on the other side they'll have it, and then it's interesting stuff. And there are nuns like that. They're that their entire life is to be cloistered and pray, and that's it. That's all they do.
Yeah, I like I said, I really do admire their discipline, and because I've been on this health journey now for about 4 months, where it takes an incredible amount of like self-discipline to not eat sugar and to not.
I lost a lot of weight too.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's. I just appreciate that. So I was just kind of looking up, like, things that monks do. And then I got into, then I was like, maybe I'll just join a monastery. And then I just found out that I probably never could.
Doctor, I basically experienced my first After Dark.
Yeah. Was that your first one?
Yeah.
That was a rough one. He saw the After Dark show.
Josh does things on after. There have been times, and I am not exaggerating. Okay. I'll get home from work, right? I'll drag myself in, take my shoes off. I sit down. I make myself something to eat, maybe whatever. And then I go, oh, there's an announcement that Josh is on. Okay. I will turn on. I'll go to After Dark on my phone. There will be a small person rapping, shirtless, wearing a funny hat, doing something ridiculous, or a person speaking with a box that supposedly has a spirit in it, or something like that, and I will just go, all right, I'm done, and I shut it off, put the phone down, and I go to bed. It's so bizarre. Like, I'll randomly go into it. He is doing things on there that are so weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, Josh, these are real people.
Have you ever tuned in when I was like on a rant about something?
Yes, and I've also tuned in sometimes when you are disgusted because people are complaining. Like, I'll come in and you'll be like, oh, people are complaining about the sound. You know what? I'm done.
Oh, yeah, and
bye.
You can tell when there's when it's hit that level.
Well,
there's like a person. Sometimes you have like a person you're just like railing against, and it's on the screen, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on here, and I shut it.
Well, there used to be out there. Yeah, there used to be a time, and I'm sure people still do it but they would say like, this intro is so long, and I go, dude, there are people that have 20. I'm changing it to a 25-minute intro, and I hope you never watch again, and I hope your fish dies, and all this kind of stuff. It gets a little much.
Yeah, it does.
But I don't understand. Are these people that you show? Are they other podcasters?
Some of them, yeah.
Oh, I don't know what. Yeah. I don't pay attention to it because I don't understand it. I just click it on. It looks like some kind of crazy laughing variety show, and I'm like, this isn't true crime. I don't get it. And then I go, and sometimes I just catch you like in a kind of mood.
Well, sometimes like somebody will just
I stay in chat because you're talking about something I understand and I play along with. Yeah, but what were you gonna say?
Some people make unnecessary comments, and they, and they care too much about something. Who cares how long someone has intros? Like, if you're there to enjoy the show, just be quiet and listen, and that's it.
Look, a bit of it is shtick. Look, I'm not gonna say it's.
No, you think I don't? I'm playing along.
It is part of the show, but genuinely, sometimes people absolutely piss me off. Like one time, somebody just came in and they're like, I don't like you. And so I put the comment up and go, oh, I'm so sad that you don't like me. And they'll have like an avatar of their dog and I'll be like, oh, I hate your ugly dog. And then, I'll just go on like, what kind of a name is, it just on and on and on. But it's, I don't know. I enjoy it sometimes.
Yeah, but you don't really care when people say they don't like
No, not at all. That's the funny part. That's what I
want to point out. Eric had a question there about facial recognition.
Yes.
So but they're able.
You're so disciplined and serious. You're very funny now. We can't get you to crack. Like we say the goofy.
Oh no, I'm laughing. I'm having fun.
Hey, back to business, fellows.
Essentializing things, you know.
Ridiculous. I mean, you have to understand. Josh and I do this basically to vent.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? We're just blowing off steam. Like if we
And that's fine.
we would have totally left the topic a half hour ago. But yeah, you're right. Let's bring it back to something relevant.
Oh no, I don't mean to direct anything here. I'm
No, you're fine.
if I don't mention it, then I'm gonna forget. So
Absolutely.
yeah, no, facial recognition is it's I mean I use it even on my laptops now and your phone. You know, it's the same thing that when you lock your phone, you can look at it, and what the software does is it's a fingerprint of your face.
Really?
And not only that, it's a little deeper and complex, where it's memorizing your eyes and almost taking like an exact photograph of it and then matching it with others. So what they're able to do is take that software that uses facial recognition on your laptop or your cell phone, and then apply that to matching, let's say, the perp's eyes with someone else's. Now the problem is that you need another set of eyes to compare them with, and at this point, there's nothing there. And also at the same time, the raids that where there was no arrest made and then everything went back to normal after for them, there was more than just a pinging off the server there.
Right.
There was either multiple coincidences that they actually, happened to be in that area a few times or at the same time, or there's more than just, you can't just hit off a tower and then, oh, okay, this is the guy. There's a little bit more of a story there. So they may have used the facial recognition there to rule them out as well.
Interesting. Okay, well, so is there anything going out? We've been here over 3 hours and I'm tired. What any final thoughts there, Jason, or anything?
The number one thing is to never be shy, ask questions, to protect yourself, ask your friends, family, and don't give up information unnecessarily, and take your Wi-Fi into better consideration and know the tools. If you have gadgets and tools that you're paying subscriptions for, know how to use them. You can customize those cameras to very many different specific things now.
Awesome. That's great advice.
I would add that how do I say this? That no matter how much of a mastermind an offender thinks that he is, I don't think it's really possible anymore to completely and totally get away with something.
I agree with that.
And I think it's astounding to me the idiocy that some people who think they're geniuses demonstrate. Kohlberger being the classic example.
Even Luca Magnotta thought he was a genius.
Oh, yeah. Well, what about all the people who believed Kohlberger was a genius, even when he said stupid things like that he was a stargazing? And I don't know how I'm ever going to forget some of the way people defended that nonsense.
And then the birthing hip comments.
Oh, weird.
So weird and awkward and creepy.
And I remember I got a nasty message from somebody once that said that I had no right to call Kohlberger a loser, given how much of a loser I am.
Sorry.
Can you imagine? I mean, I am, but I love it. I'm happy. And
I don't think you're a loser.
Teasing. I'm joking. But
I'm serious. I really don't.
Of course not. I'm a winner.
You're a winner. You're a winner.
You're gonna be a winner at the game of life.
You're a winner.
I'm kidding.
Mary Ferry said she has a lot of questions and stuff, so she can send them off to Josh and I can answer them.
I'm curious. But also I want to thank the audience because I just noticed on Amazon the New Evil is shot back to number 2. Number 2 bestseller in Forensic Psych. Just a little kick, it'll go over to number 1. It's been number one a bunch of times, but it's really great when it is.
I have a feeling that it'll be back there this weekend.
It's a good point, but
Yeah.
it's let me just see what the number one book is. Now I find myself tempted. The number one in forensic psych,
The Killer Teapot.
is Inside the Criminal Mind by Same Now. That is a good book, but yeah,
Not good enough. It needs to go to number.
yeah, I'd like it back to number one. That'd be
Check out
So
the
it's the number 2 in what category?
forensic psych. Although on
no.
Amazon they call it, I don't know why. Forensic psychology on Amazon is called medical forensic psychology, which is silly.
Oh, really?
Forensic psychology. And but you have to understand, when you write a book, Amazon has a ranking that literally puts it in order with every book that's available, right? So like for right now, if you go on the page for The New Evil, it shows that it's this bestseller, and then it's number 80 in criminology overall and so forth. But then it'll give you a bestseller rank, right? So it's number 41,836 in all books. So you're talking about a site where there are millions of books in order of best-selling status. It's number 41,000 and something is incredible. I mean,
Wow.
that's incredible. But so I'm so proud of it. But you take the number, and then you go on Google and you find what is called an Amazon sales rank translator or calculator, and it will tell you how many copies a month the book is selling. And then you get an idea. Now, don't forget, I mean, for a book, like when you write a new book, for a book to be a bestseller, now they include all the pre-sales. So, I mean, all you need is
Okay.
a day to have a certain number of sales.
Yeah.
And now you could do a book that you do through Amazon. You don't even need to go through a publisher.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
There's no excuse not to write a book these days. I was thinking I have a few books in mind. I really, really want to do a book with John Lamb. I think I want to do a book with him where I love when people get mad that I'm going on and on, so they leave. But it's so fun. But I'm joking. A couple of people. But I wanted to book with John Lamb on books and movies about psychopaths. The accuracy of the depictions, the subtypes, the whatever. We would really like to do that. So, but have you written a book, Jason?
Nope.
No interest in a book?
In writing one?
Yeah.
You said in writing a book?
I think I could see you writing, for example, about crimes that scams and so forth, and how you could
how you can protect yourself, and you know what? Also, it really involves, like, I think I'd also hit around the children, because it should start at a younger age now in school, how to protect yourself online. It should be a family event to.
Well, if you author a book on that, and you were willing to have co-authors, I and a couple of other people we could edit what you've already written by adding anecdotes about crime and so forth. You could wind up with a manuscript or even a book published.
That's good.
The thing is that I've wanted to dabble in writing something about the new evil of these technological things that people are doing, and the public would find it very useful. Of course, then schemers would get ideas from the book. Unfortunately,
you're already doing it.
They're already doing it. So, but anyway, you should think about writing, even if you self-publish it. But that is so nice to see the new evil still doing so well after all these years.
That's awesome. It really is.
It's years, and it's still all the way up there. I'm so proud of that. Wow. So crazy. But I got to do a follow-up.
Yeah, absolutely, you do.
Someone mentioned, they asked, why is my voice forced? I've always had a deep voice. There's nothing wrong with that.
You have a kind of a baritone, right?
Yeah, I've been told I sound like the Godfather.
You do sound a little bit like a Godfather. I gotta go out.
Yeah.
But you got a little of that going on. Yeah. That's how it talks, right?
People just like to be rude. Like, who cares? The miserable top ramen eating losers.
They come into the chat. They don't even buy you a cup of coffee, and they insult you.
I say, what a loser. They're just losers.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Hey, you do a very good impression, Josh.
Oh, thank you.
I like that. That's good, but the Marlon Brando wasn't.
Yeah.
No, the Marlon Brando was good.
How about the
Oh.
white?
Oh, Josh, I wanted to say you have to do a show on the OJ trial. Your information.
I would love to.
Your information that you were giving out last few nights ago, that was really interesting, and
I
agree with everything you said. And
with the OJ, I know so much about that case, man. I was just so fascinated, probably because of my personal experiences, but I got into that case well after it was over, and because I was young when it was going on, but I just became so fascinated by every little aspect of that case, and so it's fantastic. But I wanted to say really quick, tomorrow on the show, we have Chris McDonough from the Interview Room, John Lamb, Dr. Gary will be here as well.
Am I in the announcement?
I don't know if you are yet, but you are now officially.
You're gonna shoehorn me in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna wedge you in there. Oh,
What time you doing that tomorrow?
What's that?
What time tomorrow?
I think it's at 9 your time. Are you gonna be home?
Listen, I was gonna go out and have a whacked out fun weekend, but I'll give it up,
Yeah, right. You were thinking about.
I was gonna be a barfly and hang out with the. Are you kidding me? What do you think I'm doing?
I don't know.
Counting the spackle on the. Oh, and Jason, I do want to say that first of all, I happen to like your voice, and I'm a big person. If I don't like a person's voice, I'm done.
Actually, someone in the chat just said the voice is going to be perfect for my audiobook.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's very soothing, and it's a very beautiful baritone, actually. But also, I think you're a very good guest because you honestly you have a lot of information. You that is really original in how you think about things. I think it really elucidates things. You carry a real expertise. I mean, we're goofing around, of course, with you, but I like that you're so disciplined and so sort of serious.
Yeah.
But I think it's great, and I hope you come back because you could have been very useful during the Koberger case. It's too bad, but during the Koberger case, there were
I've always been interested in true crime. It was this case that, for whatever reason, there wasn't enough information. Like after watching the news, because there was nothing else happening. So where do you go? You turn online to see what's going on, and then I happened to come across YouTube, and I ended up in the right places. So it was here in the interview room.
If I could make a recommendation to you to make a lot of money, you should consider starting a private consulting firm where law enforcement and other people can consult with you when there is a crime involving this. Because the truth is, I don't personally know any forensic experts that look at that. Look at how you're contributing to our understanding of this case. And believe me, people are listening to these shows and paying attention to what you're saying. You should consider doing that. I think it would be very lucrative because there's going to be more cases involving it.
Yeah.
And, and then you could also do presentations and online, videos and things where you teach people about scams and so forth. I have to tell you, I think you'd be called upon a lot.
Well, you make an interesting point because my area of expertise wasn't always on the security side. I was more the guy running the call center, the guys on the phones, the tech guys, managing those call centers and stuff.
Yeah, well, but
then it was only once I was actually took on a security role. Then I don't know. I just kept being told how we never looked at it that way.
That's it.
But it was so simple stuff. Okay, it was a matter of, no joke, communication. Pick up the phone when simple stuff. Like, to me, it was common sense, but it brought a different approach. And then that's when it's the last 5 years or so where my security really took a different level in terms of being security online and so forth.
Yeah. Well, I really consider it because it would save people's lives. I was wondering.
Thank you.
There's somebody in the audience saying something that I don't understand, but I'll ask you about it, Josh, later. But anyway, so I personally thank you a great deal, and I'm glad that I sort of popped in and joined last minute.
I thought it was great, man.
I mean,
Thank you very much. I was happy when Josh told me you were going to be on. I was hoping.
He was very excited.
I apologize that I like to be lighthearted, and that, you know, because I think that first of all, the subject matter is extremely heavy. And I also think that the case, what I have found is that we are all so desperate for a response in this case. And as it drags on, there's a lot of like looping over the same information, because we're all developing a kind of obsessional approach with this case. And I think that what happens is when you sit still and you stop buzzing around like a hummingbird, you know, repeating the facts, you sit still, you kind of go like, oh my God, this woman is probably deceased. You know, this is absolutely horrifying what happened to her. Like, it could be anybody's grandmother or mother or whatever. The reality of it hits you, and it's just really awful. You know what I'm saying? Awful. And so we're all like, yeah, blah, 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 you know, and I just think the other thing is how much we're talking about it. You know, it makes me sad, because I know that as soon as another high profile case comes along, it's going to slip.
Well, it's now, especially now, right? With
Feuermann, yeah, I know.
Now, with that coming out, it's gonna, start.
And you know, and it's unbelievable, because the truth is there are a lot of cases of people that are abducted or killed or so forth, and we don't even know that they exist. But I understand the high profile nature of it. But it makes me sad that you could see the ruminating, you know, about the same details, because you know. And I just find the whole thing so sad, because after all of this talking, you know, we never really seem to advance a jot in terms of figuring out where she is. I'm not even sure there is a body anymore somewhere, you know. And that,
I don't know. It's you know, before Josh said, well, one of my final thoughts. I think my final thoughts are now that I'm becoming worried that if nothing comes from this DNA. Because now I find myself, you know, we've just been, you know, repetitive now. You know, like I've been repeating the same thing over and over, because there's nothing new to compare it with. So I'm just getting a little worried now that if nothing comes from that DNA, I don't know how much more of a trace there could be.
That's kind of my worry too.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, at this point now, you know.
I know, but. My guess is that behind the scenes, the logic is, let's try to catch one of the underlings, you know, the hired gun, whatever, and then make a deal with them to try to find out who really did the you know, the hiring or whatever, you know, or arranging. Because, you know, what you picked up on today even is that, you know, there's this mixture of psychologies that's suggestive of more than one person. And, you know, of different intelligence levels and technology skill sets and all that. So I agree with that. And but I just want to thank you for coming on. You know,
thank you very much for having me.
General public. Yeah, but there aren't two people in the general public who come on a show with a few thousand people watching and hold their own like that, and know something the others don't, and put up with us too.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, you did.
No,
that's good.
I do a lot of public speaking and stuff like that. And,
good at it. Yeah, you're naturally very good at it.
Yeah.
I was the type of guy that you know, like I would be the new open like the first level job guy, you know, answering phones, doing tech support. I would walk into the CEO's office and shake his hand, kind of attitude.
That's a smart way to move.
All right. Now, Josh, your dogs must be flipping out.
They just woke up and they're surrounding my chair like a couple of hungry sharks looking at a wounded surfer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I'm going to buy you have an audiobook? Is your book on audio?
Yeah. An audiobook. The thing is, the audiobook is missing the illustrations and the graphs.
Oh, okay.
And the thing is, it's read by an actor called Charles Constant. He's very good. He does a lot, so I'm not criticizing. But the thing is, that book is so heavy, and the way that it's read is very cheerful, almost. Like it'll be like, and then the murderer walked down the street with a firearm and blew everyone to death. You know, blew everyone's brains out. and it has this kind of calm. I can't explain it. It doesn't match the heaviness of the content.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? It's sort of weird to me to listen to it.
Do you choose who reads the book?
No.
No.
To tell you the truth, I wish I read it. You know, I'd like to read it myself, but you know, it's very strange. Did you know Ed Kemper does a lot of book reading, Josh, for the blind? There are recordings of Ed Kemper reading books that you don't realize it's Ed Kemper.
Ed Kemper, the one that put his mom's vocal cords
Yeah,
in.
that's the one. Yeah. But reading "Mommy Dearest," no doubt. But the thing is, I you know, I want to volunteer to do those with the Equivox or whatever they're called, where you public domain books. I really want to do the Sherlock Holmes books. You have no idea.
Nice.
The stories. I mean, oh come on, Josh, can you know how much I would love that? But I would have to resist doing a very bad British accent. And I think the stories sound a little silly when they're read with an American accent. But I would love to read those. I would also like to read the complete works of Poe. Absolutely love it. Come on, wouldn't you listen to that? Or Moby Dick. I'd like to read Moby Dick. Or Dostoevsky.
Would I listen to it? Of course I wouldn't.
Listen, I want you to know, don't make fun of this, but it's true. I actually get complimented on my voice a lot.
It has nothing to do with your voice. I just don't want to hear the story.
So what do you want me to read?
I don't know.
50 Shades of Grey?
I don't know. I know.
You have a nice voice for reading, Jason. You should do the Vox recordings too. Yeah. You volunteer, you get a good microphone.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
But you know, I actually can sing, but I don't do it in public.
Sherlock Holmes was eating a hot dog one day in Scotland Yard, and Watson came up and kicked him in the balls.
I would never read like that. First of all, it's but
I can do this forever. By the way, having you two go at it back and forth.
We have fun when we do. This is
50 Shades of Gary.
No, that's a good one.
One day I was on. One day that's so funny. Not 50 Shades of Grey. I agree. But just one day I was on YouTube or Instagram or something, and randomly I saw my own self, like on one of those little reels or something, and it was me and you, where you're going on and on about corn dogs, and my face is like this.
Yeah, you know what? I can play
them. I strangle you, and I was cracking up. I mean, who isolated? Was that you? Did you make that clip?
No, Peyton did.
It is so funny. He thought it was hysterical.
Yeah, he liked it a lot.
Oh my god! I gotta have it.
Yeah.
You're gonna laugh at this, Jason. Because he's talking about the most ridiculous thing.
I didn't think it was that ridiculous.
Well, people are mentioning Watson in the chat.
Oh gosh.
Of course.
We got to get out of here. Hold on.
They're like, I've never heard the corn dog story.
It's not really a story, is it? Okay, here.
There it is. That's it. This is what popped up on my screen.
Oh wow.
Our first. We just put that out, so we'll take our first call when we get it. But anyway, back to the hot dog situation. Yeah, man, this new hot dog machine looks like it's gonna. I mean, it's amazing. I've never seen a hot dog machine like it.
I didn't even know it was making
wow.
That cracks me up.
Iran seems. We just put that out, so we'll take our first call when we get it. But anyway, back to the hot dog situation. Yeah, man, this new hot dog machine looks like it's gonna. I mean, it's amazing. I've never seen a hot dog machine like it. We were filling time. What am I going to do?
I feel that so deeply whenever I look at that. But that is funny. Why are you making those little things now? Does YouTube require it or something?
No,
Is it
I didn't do it. Peyton did.
So funny. Oh, my
Yeah, they're
God.
fun. Go Giants. Hopefully tomorrow's better. Yes, it is.
All right. And Jason, listen, thanks for humoring us. We try to keep it light a little bit. It's we've had long days. We don't know what to tell you.
That's true.
But I hope that you don't feel that we get too goofy. Where Jason?
I don't know.
It was like I'm done. Bye-bye. Buonasera. È stato proprio.
He's like, I'm out of here.
Boom.
Oh God.
Where'd he go?
All right.
What's the funniest thing I've ever seen? He was like, I'm out of here, bro.
You're like spilling your heart out. You're like spilling your heart to him, and he.
That's so funny. Just the way that he. Oh, there he is, Jason. That was hysterical. It was like you abandoned ship, like when
I know.
Big
It's like I got scared and ran away.
And he's like, ah!
Yeah, Gary's like, Jason, thank you so much for putting up with our terrible humor. And then you're just like gone.
And then get out of here.
Yeah. That's so funny to me. Anyway, but
the electricity flicked at the perfect time.
That's so
oh,
funny.
is that what it was? Oink.
Yeah, over here we're getting some snow and like some freezing rain and stuff. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it gets a little. It's becoming more and more like this time of year now, where when the temperatures are going, not cold enough to snow and not warm enough to melt everything. So we usually get like a little sleet and freezing rain around this time.
That was perfect.
Okay.
Maybe
Right.
make a clip of that.
People say they should clip that because it was so funny.
That would be good.
Like, well, it was really nice talking to you, and you were like,
"Damn!"
You yeeted, yourself out.
All right, guys. Well, I got to take these dogs out. They're starting to chew at my ankles. So, but Jason, thank you. We'll have you back on again. Of course, it was.
Yeah,
awesome.
I'd love to.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye-bye. Dr. Gary, I will talk to you later.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, Jason.
He's great.
So smart. All right, take the dogs out.
All right. Thanks, guys. See, tomorrow, and I'll put you on there.
I don't know what time it is.
6. It's 6 my time, 9 your time.
9. Okay. All right. No problem.
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm not going to be able to watch the game?
What game?
Isn't there some game that we're supposed to be happy about tomorrow?
Yeah, there's a baseball game, but it's in the afternoon.
Crap. Oh, all right.
All right. See you later, Dr. Gary. Thanks a lot.
Be able to live without knowing who was hitting what ball with what stick.
All
right.
Otis went on something.
Is it a baseball game?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. All right. Okay, bye.
Bye. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Otis is chewing on something. Hey, stop. Thank you. He's being really, really bad. So he wants to go out, and I don't know what he wants to do. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it. Once again, thank you all for the love and support in my trying times. I thank you guys for everything. It's overwhelming, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you. And we will catch you guys next time.